Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the final day of the final week of our regular season for Blue Otter Premier League. I am Chong Somo, and I'm joined by Jay Betta this week. Jabetta, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well. It's been a while since I've been on a BOL cast, but I'm very excited to join. Firing through some picks and bands here with the Mel MF and Milio. These are some interesting bands. I'm assuming that they're all very targeted, but still, nothing that I'm expecting at all. These aren't really super high prio. These aren't necessarily even that strong in general. Like Milio hasn't seen a lot of play at all. Mel, has some counter into some players in Fearless, but yeah, it's interesting to see these picks being banned away up first.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Also, like, for stakes for this match itself is High Alert has already been eliminated from our playoffs here, but Elysium needs to win to keep their first place spot. Like, they need to 2-0. So this isn't like the most important match, but Elysium's gonna come in here. They're gonna take this seriously because they want that first seed again, like they didn't have last year. But after winning, it's kind of what we expected. But the first pick, Mel, is definitely a choice in the current patch when champions like Yunara are still up and available. I think that she is still the best AD carry, but this is something that Elysium did last week when we casted them, so not too surprised myself.
The Smolder B1. This is an interesting choice. I think that there's a ton available. I mean, my mind goes immediately towards something like a Blitzcrank, anything like that. I mean, Siva can match well into a Smolder in lane. However, later on, the range of the Smolder does become a bit of an issue. But Syndra against that, not too bad. I think it's really up to the support in this game. I think it's going to be very impactful. I would go Alistair here for Elysium. Great into Siva, but I'm not convinced by Smolder first pick. I think that there's so much available into it. Oh, it's Smolder mid blind. Okay. Yeah.
I guess it was just a flex pick between Watercat and Dilly, and then after the Syndra was locked in the first phase for High Alert, they were like, okay, we can just put Smolder mid, have that scaling versus scaling matchup, and then have something that can actually try to punish the Sivir in the lane in the likes of the Lucian. But then the Ivern is picked up here for Guster Posey. Really strong champion for the Elysium team. This one they like to play a whole lot, so not surprised to see that locked in. But you don't really have a hyper carry that you're shielding up as Ivern in this game, or like that big AD melee bruiser that you're trying to get all those shields and extra healing and everything on. So Ivern feels a little bit weird in this draft, but it feels like a comfort pick here for the side of Elysium going with that one. As
What?
Jarvan,
What? What? It's double. It's double mobile carries. Why are we going Jarvan?
yeah,
Both of them have brushes.
Yeah, no, I felt the same way when I did see the Jarvan locked in, just because Lucian and Solar, like you said, they both have mobility. They can both get out of the Cataclysm. Typically, you see the Jarvan picked in to Sivir and not with Sivir, but if they get the Ivern in there, hopefully the theory is they'll be able to get through him fast enough when he's in the Cataclysm through all the shields and everything he can put out to be able to not have that impact in a team fight, but I just don't like the Jarvan pick, especially when you had stuff like the Wukong that was still up and available, even the likes of the Pantheon, if that's something you want to play. I just think the Jarvan is a choice that they made, and I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Yeah, I'm also. I feel like even though you haven't seen the full draft, like Braum for High Alert here isn't the strongest on paper due to the fact that currently it's Ivan, it's Lucian, but I think instead of banning Lucian and Braum and taking Jarvan on 3, you should have taken the Braum, which is a really good matchup into Smolder because it stops the bounce of the Q, it stops the Dragon, it stops the W, it really, really harms Smolder, and then you could have taken the Braum yourself, which is really good with Siva as well. Now, with Leona locked in, I mean, it does make sense that the Braum is banned as Bravo's a really, really good matchup against Leona and simultaneously with Lucian as well. But I still think maybe a bit of missed potential. I'm not the biggest fan, even in general, of Leona in this. Pardon me, of Leona in this draft, just due to the fact that Smolder and Lucian, but Smolder in general is really really mobile, and Leona isn't like guaranteed lockdown. You know, Q, you can obviously you can't miss, but Smolder can easily E away from Leona ult, from Leona E. Thresh locked in here as well. We've got a draft that doesn't have a ton of engage. It's just a hook, which Syndra's got a ton of range, and Sivir has spell shield. The Shogath would round the draft out quite nicely on the top end, but does leave open some form of counter pick here. I'm thinking like Embessa would be really nice, but we're gonna go a set here. So not a whole lot of mobility on the side of High Alert outside of the Jarvan.
I mean, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of either of these support locks in with the Thresh and the Leona. I mean, Alistair is still up and available, and Alistair is like the best support in the game right now. Alistair does everything every support wants to do, just 5 times better, and doesn't die for it, and can still build redemption and go with spellbook. And it's really interesting, but the set lock-in is also very, very interesting in this game, considering this Cho'Gath is eventually going to get massive. He's going to scale up with all those fee stacks and everything like that, and they just throw him on top of Elution, and they don't get to play the game. Is the theory for this game for High Alert, but it's definitely a lot easier said than done. High Alert definitely has the more engage options in their bank with Leona, everything, Jarvan engage. They have the stun from Syndra and everything like that, while on the side of Elysium, it's more situational engage. You have the root from Ivern, a knockup from Daisy, a knockup from Cho'Gath, and a Thresh hook. And that's your only forms of engage. And if those skill shots don't hit, then you just don't get to go in the similar way that, like, Leona does, just by kind of forcing it with, like, that Solar Flare, long-range Zenith Blaze, Flash Qs, and everything like this. Same with Jarvan with the Flash, Flag, and Drag combos. But High Alert has the better engage options. I think they have the better draft overall. Between the two drafts here, though, Jabetta, which one, just looking at them on paper, which draft do you think is the better one of the two?
I think that up until a really late part of the game, High Alert's draft has a lot more options, and I would say that it's stronger. But I mean, Smolder will scale infinitely, and Cho'Gath will technically too, with an Ivern as well. Maybe it's not the most effective Ivern comp, but it's still an Ivern with double 80 carry, and one of those 80 carries is a Smolder. So eventually, I feel the comp will just become too strong, too tanky. Sivir's really close range, so Shogath is basically unkillable at a point. That point might be too late. But I want to quickly touch back on the Alistair just briefly. The matchup into Sivir, if anyone doesn't know, is Sivir can spell shield almost every support in the game, but Alistair, she can't spell shield because he double hits. He WQs. So if she spell shields the headbutt, she gets knocked up. If she doesn't spell shield the headbutt, obviously then she's mid CC, so she can't get out of it anymore. So basically, all of Sivir's worth in that just gets completely taken away. But yeah, my biggest concern, however, is for High Alert, this Jarvan that has really low value into the entire draft, in my opinion. But it's quite an early game focused, and I have been watching Ona pentakill on Jarvan, so I do have hopes, and I do like the pick, but I need to be convinced that Jarvan was the correct pick on 3 to go here.
All right, and the only way we'll be able to figure that one out is when we do get on the Rift for game number 1. We're going to head to a short break while teams finish up their in-game drafting and spectator delay, so do not go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple of moments. And welcome back for game number 1 between Elysium on the blue side and High Alert on the red side. And like I said at the start of the day, Elysium needs to get the 2-0 victory over High Alert to keep their first seed here, while sadly High Alert has already been eliminated from playoff contentions. But looking at everything on the screen we have here between the Keystones and the Summoner Spells, Gebetto, is anything sticking out to you in this first game?
Well, yeah, the bot lane does. Now, this is not something that's uncommon. In fact, it's very necessary this game, but it's still a very interesting point. Because Leona is on a team, the enemy AD carry to that Leona needs to go cleanse. But on the other side, the Sivir, due to spell shield and there not really being a whole lot of threat onto the Sivir at all, gets to go barrier. Now, this is a really big disparity in the 1v1. You can basically just walk up level 1, level 2, and force an all in and barrier bait, and you will win it every single time. Lucian does need to go cleanse into something like the Leona, and then bear in mind there's more CC, Syndra, the Syndra stun, but it means that there will be a very winning 2v2 on the bot side for High Alert. But it feels like, again, it feels bad, but like this is kind of a thing that you've needed to do for the longest time against Leona. Leona's kind of fallen out of favor, I guess, compared to like we were talking about before in Picks and Bans, something like the Alistair. But when it was really high prior, it's something that was super common to happen. So I have to see how this bot lane goes. It will be pushed to high alert due to the Sivir, but a nice early trade from Dilly will chunk out Versia just a little bit.
Yeah, CZI getting chunked out here in the top lane by Osa with that level up advantage. He hit that face breaker and just went all in for that trade. But another thing that's interesting to me, since we are already talking about the bot lane, is that both of these supports, neither of them have chosen to go for the unsealed spellbook in this game, which is, I personally think, the best support keystone in the game right now. Like, you just kind of take that on everybody and you get a little bit of everything. I think there's only very limited situations where you don't take aftershock, and I can see a reason Leona would go it, just because it's a lot of burst damage with the Lucian on the side of Elysium. But I think overall, I think Spellbook is just so much more incredibly strong, having access to all those different summoner spells at crucial times. Like, we've seen the pros how they use that summoner spellbook TP on their
Oh
supports
yeah.
to stop a dive and crazy stuff like this. But even in lower elo games, I still think it can have so much of an impact, like having an exhaust for a team fight or smite to secure a crucial objective or something like this. So I would like to see it, but the hook comes in from It's Haya, and they're going on to Lost How. We have the relentless pursuit in. They're looking on the verse. Reverse has to pop the barrier, and he flashes away. Haya flashes after him, but now Lost How is in trouble and has to flash away as well. So that is no summoner spells on the bot lane, and only getting the summoners off of Haya for that one. But nobody falls down for first blood just yet. And now Reaped gonna get spotted out here by Guster, but I think everything's gonna be okay. Nothing falls in the bot lane, but the person who's punished is Versia on this Sivir.
I mean, lives due to the barrier, but that's not how you want the lane to look. Like I said, the cleanse being picked up by Lucian means that the trade of the, there is no barrier trade, but there wasn't even necessary for a barrier trade. Really nice hook, and it is rough for me to say, but like that's not how you want this lane to look in the slightest. It really doesn't. Maybe you're not killing 2v2 level 2, but you need Sivir to get push, Lucian to have a rough game. One of the biggest things Elysium can have here is a really strong bot lane start, which, in my opinion, shouldn't even get to happen. But I mean, no kill, no even real CS lead. A couple spare change minions here for Lucian under the tower, but Mr. Posey up in this top lane. No vision here for Oso, but being set, having flash,
Oh,
misses.
dodges out
Be
of the
there.
root collar, but is taking a lot of damage here. He even has to flash away from the rupture coming out there from CZI. So on both sides of the map, summoner spells are being burned early, but nobody's fallen just yet. Now Haya and Dilly are gonna just try to zone away Los and Verja here, just not let them get any XP. But like you were saying, this isn't the way the bot lane should have been going for High Alert. You're playing Sivir, you could have either just had perma push all the time and hold that thought as the death sentence hits onto Los How, and he's just gonna walk away, pop that Eclipse, and be okay. But I think like in this lane, since you know that the aggressors are going to be Dilly and Haya, you're Sivir. You can just let them push to your turret and then clear all the minions in a straight line and just never give them a laning chance to be able to actually do anything. But now you can see that CS discrepancy has built up as now Blue Moon Jelly's going to be in trouble. Flash out of Guster has to flash away from the root caller's Blue Moon. And now that could be an advantage there for Watercat. Could look for an angle to be able to get a soul kill. But the hook hits on to Verja. Verja's in trouble. Relentless pursuit forward there by Dilly. Dilly already cleanses, but it does not matter because he's still going to pick up that first blood. Reap this in the bot lane, but he's not going to be able to save his teammates. Another beautiful death sentence by Haya means first blood into Dilly's pocket.
And without the flash, Spell Shield was really late. Hold
on,
Reps
the blade hits in. Oh, a nice stop there on the EQ combo out of Reap. So Dilly's gonna be able to just walk this one out. It's just Haya using the flay to stop the flag in drag. So Flash still gets to remain on Dilly.
And that's one of Thresh's biggest strengths is the peel that it can bring, being a bridge between a form of engage with the hook, a pick champion, but also having a really, really good disengage with the flay, but also the box. Like it really does cater kind of these two play styles. We see both there mirrored back to back within a few seconds. But the bot lane for Elysium off to a roaring start right now. Dilly just out of base. So not here yet for this fight.
All right, Zenflame lands Caller hits onto Verja, but it's just the support and the other support in the jungle. But now the one in trouble is actually going to be Haya. He's going to end up just falling down here. Verja going to get gifted that one. And that's just a little bit of an overstep. Like you said, Dilly wasn't back from base yet. Haya shouldn't have even been sitting in that brush for anything. You're Thresh and Ivern, and Ivern doesn't even have level 6, so you do no damage. So you just gotta kind of give the prio over to High Alert, potentially even give that first dragon. I don't think it would have been that big of an issue, but Haya, who's been having a good game so far, ends up paying for his life with that small overstep and insight.
Yeah, it is a mistake here, and it evens back up the discrepancy in the bot lane. Obviously, there's still quite a large now CS gap between these two AD carries, but only one kill over to Dilly, even though it feels like after all these hooks have been landing and some of the mistakes from High Alert, that it could have been more. It is only one, and now
Oh,
Versio
this is
getting the
going in
other.
onto CZI. He hit the haymaker. He's trying to chunk him out. There's the showstopper. Flash rate for CZI does not matter because it is there. Haymaker picks up that solo bolo.
And we see the last pick, 10th pick set coming in. The whole ton of value. Level 6 on Gusta Posey. He's in a bush waiting, but repped over the wall onto these grubs and a really nice
Oh,
roam.
another
Oh, you
nice hook
can't.
there by Haya.
Can't.
Version's just gonna fall again. Dilly picking up another kill here. Now Watercat and Guster are trying to contest for these grubs, but because of Haya sitting bot lane, that means the advantage is to the side of High Alert with Los Ho already up there in that top lane. So that's gonna be 3 grubs going over to the side of High Alert, and with a set could mean a lot of stuff for late game potential side laning shenanigans. So we'll have to keep our eye on that one as the game does progress here. But Dilly off to a fabulous start here in this game number 1 with the assistance of his Thresh support. You know, I was kind of talking bad about Thresh in the draft, saying I think there's better supports out there, but if you're landing every hook like this, Thresh is the best support in the game, and I mean, I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, if you're landing every hook, but also if your Sivir with Spell Shield, Flash, and Barrier doesn't use a single summoner spell or ability to get out of the way, it also ends up looking really good. The problem is, like, this almost feels, I don't want to be, like, super BM, but this feels like a ranked play. Like, my support roams, and then I rage in at the wave for no reason. Like, just sit under tower and wait. And just farm the wave with Q and W, spell shield the hook as it comes out, because if you're under tower, Thresh can't be in a bush hooking you, right? But Versia, again, walking forward, taking another death, and it's another kill onto Dilly, who, despite this cleanse situation that I was talking about at the beginning of the game, hasn't really had any impact at all. It's been a really nice start for the bot lane of Elysium. However, 3 grubs over to High Alert feels nice. It's not the best split pushing comp or grubs value comp in general, but It will matter as Gustaposy going for a lane gank. He might have been spotted on that minion.
He stopped
Maybe he's just
himself. He stopped himself early,
just
so
out.
would not be seen on that minion. And they're playing it smart. Guster knows the range. He's been playing this game for so long. Okay, so the hook is in once again. But Reaped is also down here in the bottom. The box comes out, and the TP is
Little
going in.
TP.
Flag and Drag is in, and now the Cataclysm comes out. Los has to flash away, but he doesn't tick down to the Ignite. And now Blue Jellycat is here, and he's looking for some damage. The Culling comes out. They're trying to do their best. Oh, the hook again at a higher hit. The Flay is not there yet. Reaped is going to flash away, Flag and Drag out, but the one who goes down is Los How on this Leona, and now it's just Haya's getting chunked down by Virgil. Virgil losing vision right now. The EQ hits there, and now they're trying to get away. Shields coming out. Another hook hits onto Blue Moon Jelly, but now Dilly's going in with the ruthless pursuit, and then he has the shielding coming out from Gustaposy, but Virgil has so much damage. Virgil flashes forward and does not get the last hit. The ricochets are coming out. He's going to try to bounce on the Dilly, but it's just not enough, and the shielding from Ivern is just enough to keep Dilly alive, but it ends up being a 1-for-1 on the supports in pure mayhem, and the real winner of that whole thing isn't any AD carry. It isn't anybody involved in that play. It is Watercat on the Smolder, who just gets to sit mid-wave and pick up 2 waves for free.
Yeah, and on a champion like Smolder, that is one of the best champions to be doing what Watercat just did. I mean, it's a huge win for Elysium because despite it being a 1-for-1, it was a massive numbers disadvantage. A really nice TP down from Blue Moon Jelly, but there's just not enough damage right now. The bot lane of Elysium is doing work with these hooks. Higher flashes in to get the last hit onto Laos. And so far, pardon me, despite the gold being relatively even, like I was saying before, this is Shogeth Ivan Smolder. This is a really scaling draft. And, Siva, Syndra does scale too, set as well. But, pardon me, but it's not the same as a Smolder or a Shogeth, especially when this Smolder is getting like the freest farm of all time, just sitting here. And now Blue Moon Jelly might be caught.
Watercat has the flap and is able to get away from that. Mom comes out as well and heals him up. And that was the best you could hope for out of a
Yeah.
Jarvan
Yep.
into Smolder. That's literally, oh wait, no, this could be an interesting spot here. Now Dilly's gonna get knocked up and one in trouble is high, and the Zenith Blade is in from Los, and they're going in for it, and then the set is here with a huge showstopper. They're gonna pick up 1 kill on the Haya, and now the rest of the team has to run for the hills. They're looking to go out the Guster, the flag and drag this not hit, and now he's running for the hills to get stunned up and everything like that. Version's here and picks up another kill, and then CZI walked all the way down here for the play to just be over, and the bot lane of Elysium that has been playing so good gets pinched out on that play, and it ends up being high alert. Now going to be claiming the feat of monster slaying, so it's going to come down to first turret in this game.
I wasn't watching. I don't know how Oso got down here so quickly without using TP. Did he base from top and then just walk to Dragon? I feel like it does suck that for Elysium, sorry. Oh, oh boy.
Okay, well we can hopefully we can figure it out now with a pause coming in here.
It does suck that Hyla got the first Drake because Hyla's like biggest win condition here is the Dragon stacking. ADC ganked rage quit.
Now, real quick, not rage quick.
Oh, real quick. Okay. Ganked real quick. It does suck that the first dragon went over to high alert because Elysium would love at least one Drake to stall the game out as higher.
Flay hits there, and now Verge are gonna have to pop the barrier, but Dilly's doing so much damage, he uses the Relentless Pursuit, and he gets so low. If that culling wasn't on cooldown, I think Dilly just gets the kill there on to Verge, and we're gonna get the pause after the pause, because League of Legends is still in the beta, but, once the alpha
It's
does
an
come
indie game.
out,
It's
that
an
won't be
indie game.
fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yep, we're quickly back into the action. Luckily, it's not the longest second pause that I have ever had to deal with, so thank gosh for that one.
Yeah, I feel like as well, if Dilly had flash, it was getting sent under tower for that kill. It's been a really aggressive bot lane so far, and I'm still on the hill, and I will die on this hill, that Sivart should be fine into Thresh. I haven't seen a single ability get spell shielded yet. I don't know, maybe we're panning over at really bad times, and the spell shield is already down, but Flay can be spell shielded as well, right? I don't know how Versia is just every wave caught when the support is also roaming. It's like, surely we can either bring support over or play a little bit safer because I mean, it might sound like I'm being like really harsh, and I am being a little harsh, but you really need this bot lane to look strong as it was something that you picked quite early in the draft. And I'm still worried that Sevilla is going to get put down further if this continues to happen with the lane-based playstyle of Haya. But Herald getting taken now by High Alert due to the roaming playstyle that Loud is playing. And this is kind of the trade-off, right? When you're playing a support that's roaming versus a support that's not roaming, this is what it turns into. One team is getting all the objectives, and the other team is playing for lane, is playing for these like invades. And Elysium, although not a, it's not something that we see a whole lot in pro play. It's very like both supports like to roam. They are at least pressing their advantages on the side of the map that they're playing. But now, both AD carries in the mid lane shouldn't really be seeing most of that stuff again. It should be supports holding their hands and then walking them to the objectives. It's a dragon stacking win con though for High Alert here. They need these dragons, and Osu looking pretty fat right now on the top lane. Big CS lead, nice gold lead with the kill and 2 assists, and so far has been terror in that at least one team fight that he was in.
Yeah, and I mean the big thing that you were touching on is because Verge is getting punished in every single wave that's coming through, and Laos is roaming. It meant first turret went over to Elysium in that bot lane, and it gave them the total overall feats. And something I'm really curious about, if we could pan over it really quick, but hold that thought. They're looking on to Dilly, and a nice use of that E to dodge the flash, scatter the weak there out of Blue Moon Jelly. Not gonna have that flash for this next dragon fight in a minute 40, looking for something before it even comes out. But yeah, look at the gold lead in the bot lane between Verja and Dilly. It is very much in Dilly's favor, almost 1,000 gold up at this point here, sitting at 700 with that gold advantage. And that's because they got the first turret. He has 2 kills. He has the CS lead. And relatively also to that, you have the CS lead here, or the gold lead on both Oso and on Blue Moon Jelly for the side of High Alert. Oh, the Zenith Blade is in. Haya has to flash away from that one, but that's really about it. Now, Thresh will not have flash for this objective, and he's not running for that secondary resolve tree. I don't think that's even the name of it, but doesn't have Hex Flash, and that's a pretty important thing for this one. And some other interesting things is the double redemption on the side of Elysium. That means you get less healing if you stack your redemptions over each other because they're not made to be played together.
We're
As Jester
driving,
also has to
baby.
flash. Oh, Haya's taking a lot of damage here. Haya actually could go down. The Unleashed Power comes out, and that's just it. He's just dead from an overstep trying to help clear away that Rift Herald. And now Watercat actually in a pretty dangerous spot here. Flag and drag there, and the Cataclysm comes out. But guess what? He just flies over the wall, and you've also just used your solo flare. But Watercat is still being chased down. Laos going to flash forward. The Zenith Blade buffer does actually hit. The flag and drag comes out again, and he falls down to Verja. And that's also going to be the mid lane turn going down to the side of High Alert. So that just means they also have Dragon. They are going to be on a quick soul point in this game number 1.
Obviously, Watercat caught out there, but played it almost as perfectly as he could. Dodges out the solar flare and escapes the Cataclysm with that flight, but the flash needed to be half a second earlier so that Zenith Blade didn't connect. Now this dragon's being started up. TPs across the board, set from top, and
Oh,
Shogun
wait,
from
Sen
base,
has a
both during the
deep
fight.
flank TP. Yes,
He's
Sen is.
coming.
Yeah, he's looking for that flank angle, and he might find it here. The TP's coming out from Watercat, but Oso's in the back line. He found CCI. They're going in, but Laos takes a lot of damage. They're still going for this one. A huge multi-man stun there coming out, but Laos is already dead. Dilly's trying to kite this one out as best as possible. Reap has to flash away, and they're still looking for the damage. Verger's putting out a lot in this one, but so is Watercat. Reap is in danger on the backside. The rupture does hit onto Oso. Oso going to try to get this one away, but it does not matter because he's feasted up. High is still low here. Reap looking to go back in. Reap steals the dragon, and they get the soul point drag steal still, but it does not matter because Verger actually going to pick up a kill here, and now with the rest of the members clumped up, this could be a spot here, but it's not going to be. Blue Moon and Verja just going to run away. It ends up being a 3-for-1 overall, but Reaped with 0 HP gets in there and steals away the dragon.
A really nice stealer from Rept, but just checking. Maybe another rage quit. No, I'm kidding.
I'd
The
rage
fight
quit after the dragon gets stolen like that.
Report my jungler. It looks funny. It looks a bit silly from Oso, but obviously What he's trying to do is pull the Shogath into the entire enemy team to get that extra max health damage, but the path, the angle just wasn't right. So it ends up that he just pulls the tanky Shogath. Actually, I say tanky. It's actually just full AP Shogath. It's still, high HP. But you pull the Shogath into your entire enemy team, which you don't really have a ton of damage just yet. You have a lot of sustained damage over time, right, with the Siva, but the burst isn't really there. The pen isn't really there at the time. And fight ends up going sideways. Really nice steal from the dragon to even the fight out. And now it is Soul Point, which giving Ocean Soul over to a double redemption Ivan comp with Shogath is really rough. The fight is already quite long. The redemptions already making the fight longer. Mid gank. Does this just mean like mid gank meaning like they'll be right back? I've never
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
of this in my
yeah.
life.
They got ganked IRL. Their parent came in and is talking to them.
It's just that's hilarious. I used to scrim a ton. I've never heard of that. But I
Th-
guess I'm monk.
There used to be a player in collegiate for NA, and his summoner name was Ganked by Mom, and he played mid lane.
Okay.
And it's for that exact reason. For when your parent comes in while you're like playing a game and you got to pause for it, and it's like, oh yeah, my parents just ganked me, came out of the jungle out of nowhere. But
Got a
I
award for
mean,
that, man.
yeah, just lock the door. Tell them you're busy, and parents, they don't care. They're still gonna come in. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you're doing something," and it's like, "No, I'm sitting here doing nothing." And it's like, "Oh, okay." And then they talk to you for 45 minutes, and it's a great time. Love your parents. Respect, cherish them while they're still here.
Agreed. But I look at this game state again. It's still an even gold, and I guess it feels strange because it's one of these games where, okay, the gold is even in general. Like the gold for both teams. Obviously, there's a gold lead for bot lane for Elysium, but there's a gold lead for mid lane for High Alert. So you've got a overall even game, but one team has Smolder Ivan, but the other team has Soul Point and 3 grubs.
Oh,
So
and we're back.
we'll get the pause in a second. So don't be shocked when that happens. But yeah, it feels like either team has these silver lining, like they're happy about X condition. Have to check in with the smaller stacks once this is done. It will be a little bit longer because we were in pause for longer. But when Watercat does respawn, love to check in with the smaller stacks and see what we're looking at. We are at 274. Now, that's not terrible. It's not trophy,
That's
but
174. That's 174.
what did I say? Did I say 274?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, I read 174. If it was 274 at 20 minutes, I,
He'd
that
be
would
the
be
best smolder in
insanity.
history. He'd be
He
the
would be the best
best
smolder in
smolder
history. That
ever.
would have been ridiculous. Thank you for correcting me. My bad. 174, which is not bad. It's not as high as you could be, but for this level of play, it's really solid. Especially considering that there haven't been too many brawls. It's been, small skirmishes that Watercat hasn't really been a part of. And Watercat hasn't found the most success on this smolder just yet, but does have Essence River completed, so infinite mana cheats enabled. I believe it's Shojin next here for this smolder, so getting these items online, and once that stacking completes, there'll be a problem. The issue, though, for the smolder is that there's a big chunk there from Oso. Nice, all in. The issue for the smolder is these stacks will not be completed in 3 minutes for this Drake, unless you just do actually turn into Trophy for 3 minutes, and you also get a bunch of stacks off of enemies and they randomly team fight. I feel like if you are High Alert, you don't pull this out of card and you don't lose the game as we've
Oh, they're
seen.
looking to make a play on Watercat, but nothing's going to come out of it. Sorry to interrupt you there. Continue your thought.
I was going to say, it does look like they were going for Watercat, but some good pathing from Elysium. You can see the support and jungle pathing down to protect their carry. I know it's not the 80 carry, but does build AD and is a carry in the mid lane right now. But yeah, I think that if you are high alert, taking a fight, even if it's winning, unless you just one shot Smolder, isn't a good idea. We'll see what happens here. Rept gets hooked.
Fire goes in for that one, and the QE does not hit there, but the flag and drag works. Highest taking a lot of damage. Redemption comes out and heals them up, but a lot of damage going on. The Rept Watercat actually doesn't fall into. He ends up falling on that side, but now so does Haya. Dilly's trying to go in there, but the culling doesn't even land onto anybody. Daisy's trying to do her work, trying to get that front line going. They knock up Los How, and they're still looking for this one. Dilly, oh, they cannot find Rept on the backside of that one. The empowered recall that he has not taken yet from taking that Rift Herald still available and is able to get away, but wait, CZI. He's looking for the angle. He's looking on the Version. Version pops the spell shield, but it does not matter because he's already just dead as the dust. And now Laos has to flash away. And in the meantime, look at top lane. Osa's just split pushing away, having a great time. He's in tier 2 turret, gonna take that one for himself. But now the Otacon started up. Rept is back. He's looking for the angle. He doesn't know that he's pinched by CZI yet. The flag comes out in the brush. I think that was a misclick, and now they're just gonna turn on the Rept. TP onto the flag coming out of here from Osa. They're looking to continue to contest from this one. It is 2v3 right now. It looks like the side of Elysium thinking about pulling off of this one as Haya returns to the play. TP now coming out from Blue Moon Jelly. This is still going. Redemption coming here from Laos. TP back in from Watercat, and we're going to get a 4v5. The only person here is Verja. Verja not here. Haya doesn't get stunned up, but there goes the Haymaker, the showstopper, everything being popped here. Oh, Osa's taking a lot of damage. Osa gets the shield out just in time. Haya falls down. CZI going back in with that Rocket Bell. A nice slow coming down there from Watercat. And they're going to pick up two on the backside. CZI picking up a double kill there. Rept is still alive, and he might look to do the unthinkable again and get the Otacon steal as Verja shows up. This is a spot for Sivir to go crazy with those ricochets, trying to find the chance to go in for it. The stun doesn't land out of Blue Moon Jelly. The Otacon is getting low. CZI is actually taking a lot of damage. Now Verja looking to go in with those ricochets, trying to get the damage across. It is at 3k. This is still a coin flip, drops down to 2.5, and now their teams are looking. A nice double stun there out of Blue Moon Jelly. It goes down, and it's just stolen away. They just steal it away. What is Elysium doing? What? I'm gonna go home. I don't. I.
I was so ready to say like, oh, I had just said high alert, shouldn't be taking the fight, and because now look at the stacks, right? I said you don't fight in this position because you just don't want to let Smolder stack. Now, even though the
Caught
fight
out
wins,
again. It
Haya
doesn't
thought,
matter. Haya just caught immediately. Watercat might be on the stacks, but with the Ocean Soul on the Rift, it might not matter. Oso gets to the back line, gets a two-man stun on the Gus Posey. Gus Posey gonna have to flash away from here. Now CZ's taking a lot of damage. The Flag and Dragon's looking to go in again, and he gets on the Dilly. Dilly has to cleanse and exhaust, and now Laos is dead. Watercat on the backside has to flash away from the rest of the side of High Alert, and now they're looking to go back in towards the Dragon. The members on the side of Elysium have some better health bars thanks to Guster and CZI. Daisy comes out here, and they're looking for it. They're still looking for it. We can see Oso looking to go in and do some magic, and the stun does not land on the Dilly. Dilly in the back of the pit, now separated from the rest of the team. Oso just zoning away Guster and CZI. Gonna get knocked up there, take a little bit of poke damage, but the Dragon still on the Rift. The Dragon fight doesn't end until Dragon dies. Oso trying to go back in. Daisy being used as a turret shot, and Dilly gonna pick up Oso, and that is a huge amount of damage from the side of High Alert that does not exist anymore. Now Rept is caught out between Haya and Watercat, and he is not gonna be able to live to see another day, and the Dragon stacking stops here. Elysium does not let the stall go over, and now, because of the way HP bars have worked and the death timers have worked, they're just gonna turn their focus to the Baron.
no jungler, so no smite, no spell books, so no smite. So this Baron should be free outside of a miracle contest from high alert. The bomb plant will be removed. Baron has been started. Members of high alert are coming. This is an all or nothing play here from Elysium. It's still soul point for high alert. They need this Baron.
All right, we'll see if the magic can happen here from High Alert. A nice three-man stun there out of Blue Moon Jelly, but it doesn't matter because Versa's not there to knock anybody up or do any damage, and already falling down is going to be Blue Moon that goes 1-for-1, but it doesn't matter because of the backside. Versa is able to pick up Haya, and a lot of damage is going back over from Watercat, and they're going to be able to pick up a double kill here on the Watercat, thanks to the Iron Shielding, healing, everything going on, and they're able to pick up the Baron. They lose 2, but I'm still not 100% positive that play is worth overall to force the Baron like that. I think you have to at this point, so we will call it worth for the side of Elysium.
I mean, that was a long spree of events. That was quite a lot of you talking, Sean. So big props there. But the biggest part is I was talking about you don't want to fight in that situation. You have Soul Point, Dragons in 3 minutes. Watercat will not get his stacks, but because it's a really really scrappy fight. Again, this is just doesn't do anything. You just waste ult. Because it's a really scrappy fight, Smolder benefits significantly from those fights when the dragon isn't the target. When this Smolder isn't the target. So Watercat just sits there, throws abilities out, and ends up getting the 225. Now, it doesn't even like yes, there was a really awkward Atacon like leash. Or it didn't even feel like a steal. Like Elysium just did the whole Atacon and then walked away and Rep just smutted it. Like Juxtaposer wasn't even remotely in range. But then even though they lose Atacom, it doesn't really matter because the Smolder has hit the point. It's now 2 items on Smolder. It's 3 items on this Lucian. Julie's had an outstanding game. And despite the death count for higher, these hooks have still been really strong. The flares have still been really strong. Could we get a flower counter? Could we get a click on it will hold actually, hang on.
We're going in onto Rep. Rep taking a lot of damage here. The hook from Haya does not land, but he gets rooted up by that root caller, loses all his HP. The proto belt from CZI is not going to pick up the kill. It's actually going to be Haya getting that one. And now with the Baron in tow, the wave is coming. They're going to look to siege onto the spot lane tier 2 turret, looking to cut away the rest of the team to just be able to get this one. Surely Haya is still looking, but I don't think they're going to look for the engage at this point.
And it's such a good position now for Elysium with this scaling comp, and the Lucian is still so far ahead of Versio, who's actually had a pretty good time coming back, culling out, blocked out a lot by Laos. The stun only hits Dilly, which might have done a lot of damage if there was no Ivan on the team. Just gets shielded up, all that damage. Forced to go the Verdant Barrier. So Blue Moon Jelly missing out on quite a lot of damage that could have come in there. Maybe could have been a Rabadon's third. And if that had been completed, it would have been a really nice position for Syndra to be in. So we've got 24 for red side after Atacon. How many do we have for blue side? How many flowers have we got on
Like
the blue side?
15.
So it's not even a whole lot. I know that you've got it's obviously more flowers and you've got the explosion passive. So getting Atacon is like fine, but I mean even like there's a lot of discourse. So, I mean I'm about to talk about this in picks and bans for the next game because looks like Elysium is coming down mid lane right now. Oh no, wait. No, I can't talk about it. Okay.
I mean,
So there's a lot of discourse about like what's the actual value from Atacon and teams like throwing away the entire game to go for it. Is it worth it? I can tell you for a fact it's not worth it if you're not a professional player. You like it doesn't really matter. Taking that really elongated fight and then getting Atacon isn't worth giving the Smolder all these stacks, giving these kills over to Dilly.
oh, a lot
But
of
it's
damage there
ARAM
to
and we're
Guster
fighting.
Posey. Okay, Guster have to burn the flash already. Mom's coming out, getting a big chunk of damage onto Laos and Blue Moon, and also going to flash away. Watercat is actually going to be the target here. He's got stunned up, thrown it to the back line, but it doesn't matter because he's flashed away. And now Rep is in the back line, and he's already falling down. Watercat is looking to press forward. A nice two-man stun there. Haya hits a hook right in the face of Version. Version going to fall down, and that's just the game. That should just be the side of Elysium winning this one because they're taking the turret with Daisy. Haya is taking a lot of damage from Blue Moon, but it doesn't matter because CZI can just take up these turrets alongside with Daisy. Blue Moon flashes away, but Shogath is fast enough to hopefully be able to pick up this kill. And actually, because of the push and stun from Scout of the Week, Blue Moon is actually just going to be able to live. And now CZI is just going to kind of pull this wave away for some reason and take like 6 turret shots.
He's just styling. He just wants to get some more farm. He's given. Oh, maybe he's bringing it over for the Smolder to get some more stacks. But either way, this game will be over. The respawns are short enough to contest, but the backline of Elysium is just too strong. And with the Ivan, the shields are coming through. Nice execute here as the second Nexus Tower falls.
Oh, hold on. The rest of the team from High Alert is back. They're already going to pick up 1 kill. Elysium actually might have forced their hand a little bit too far because the chase is coming down here from High Alert. They have to run for the hills because the Soul Dragon is still available and on this map.
Oh boy. I mean, it feels good for High Alert if CZI sacrifices himself for no reason as High Alert They march directly
Oh,
towards
they hit
this.
the
But
hook
it's a
onto
break.
Rept. Rept is taking a lot of damage. A nice three-man flay. The box is there. And already down is Rept, but Verja going to be picking up the kill on the backside. And now Watercat is looking to put out as much damage as possible. Verja is actually flashing forward, and the flap is there. But it doesn't matter because Watercat is at the point. Dilly is a monster in this game. That is a triple kill. And what we thought could have been extended is snuffed out and sent void at this point. Elysium going to win game number 1 and look to keep themselves in first seed going into playoffs. Dilly going to get stunned up, cleanses away. It doesn't matter because he's just going to get the shielding there from Ivern, get the final kill of the game. 10-0-10 for Dilly on this Lucian as they win game number 1.
I mean, you can see the Leona matchup into Smolder later on. He just runs at the Smolder in a straight line. They even flash with, I believe it was Osu, to try to get the kill onto Watercat. And they just can't reach him. He's too fast. It's just the champion. You needed, something like a Vi there, or a Nautilus, or even an Alistair that we were talking about. You need guaranteed confirmed engage on these hyper-mobile AD carries. Not really hyper-mobile, but Smolder is. Lucian's got a short dash. Over the wall as well with the Smolder. It's really damaging to play this kind of, I want to run at you in a straight line comp. And, I mean, we saw over and over and over again Watercat, even though despite getting caught and dying and having a pretty rough start to the game, ended top damage in the entire lobby. It's just the champion.
I mean, that's kind of surprising to me with how much work Dilly was doing this entire game on this Lucian to see that final number go over to Smolder. But also, Smolder does tend to trade a lot more with his HP bar just to be getting those stacks. So, can't say I'm all too surprised about that. But something I wanted to mention before we even got a chance to was, like you mentioned, the Vernon barrier on the Syndra, I don't think was the choice. Like, you have the long enough range into the comp of Elysium to be playing back. So I think you should have just sent the death cap. Like, you were in a strong spot at that point. If you get that damage, maybe some of these extra kills come over for the side of high alert and they're able to kind of like turn the game back on its head and be able to take that one over. But at the end of the day, they're looking at a 0-1 up against Elysium. And now I have to ask you the question we always ask here, Gebetto. For game number 1, who is your MVP?
I mean, it's either Dilly or Haya. I know that Watercat had a really nice later on in it, like a really nice late game. I played the Smolder quite well despite going down. But, I mean, AD carry is 10-0 and 10. But there were some really nice hooks in the early game. I'm going to say it's Dilly. I think Dilly 10-0-10 played a really nice game on Lucian. I don't think that's the easiest matchup. Has the cleanse as well. Like I said, I really think one AD carry having cleanse, the other having barrier is really favored to the AD carry with barrier. But it didn't end up going that way. Dilly played it really well.
All right. So with that, we are actually going to head to a short break here. And instead of bringing you the rest of this series, we will be hopping over to our other match between, I believe it's Little Monkeys and Conduit. We'll find out in a second. But don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly for our second series starting early of the day. And welcome back for our second series between Dorado Gaming and Conduit Esports. Dorado going to be on the blue side, Conduit going to be on the red side. And to lay out the stakes for this game, if one of these teams 2-0, they should be getting the 4th seed going into playoffs. But there is a potential that if one of these teams falls down 0-2, they will miss the chance of making it into the playoffs. 2 literal monkeys who did get a 2-0 to be able to help themselves push into that spot. So a lot of stakes here in this game. Both of these teams would like it to go to 3 games because then they just secure themselves in. Doesn't matter the seed right now. They just get in playoffs, and that's all that really matters. Last season, we saw Elysium, who was in our first game. They were the 6th seed going into playoffs and went all the way and won our grand finals for the first season of Premier League. So anything can happen. You just got to be able to make it to that final contest. But this should be a good matchup we have here between these two teams today, Jabetta.
I'm excited. It's taken a bit of time for the picks and bans to come through, but I'm hoping we don't see a Jarvan into incredibly mobile backline. But yeah, touching on things that have been just in general like really popular recently, at least in international tournaments. Things that are highly first picked. Obviously, the Gwen and the Rumble have fallen out of favor after the changes, after the nerfs, especially the Gwen getting pretty gutted, but wasn't something that was super prioritized in these leagues anyway. We've had in the 80 carry position, like you touched on at the beginning of last game, the Unara that has been ramping up, but also did get nerfed in the recent patches, as we are not on that version of the patch anymore, as Pixabays are starting. Orianna is one of those picks in the mid lane that has been getting a lot of playtime, so it's good to see that getting banned out here. It is really strong and doesn't really have anything that does really well into it. The counters to it are something like an Akali, which has a really rough lane, but then can find it on the side lane and look for solo kills. And the jungle, which the jungle seems to me to be one of the more contentious positions when it comes to first pick specifically. Wukong is one of those, so Wukong getting banned away here. But you've still got Jhin and Jarvan, which, Jarvan's more of a situational pick unless you're really, really good at it. Like we mentioned in the last game. But things like Pantheon that I haven't really seen played a whole lot, which does really surprise me because that champion, in my eyes, is really strong, quite simple and easy to play, and it has a global, which is quite valuable when teams don't have the best communication. But it is junglers getting looked at here. I guess that could be support Zyra, but haven't seen a whole lot of Zyra. Milio first pick is what we're going here. Again, you can pick a hook champion and just hook the Milio all game. I'm not sure if Conduit are going to go towards that, but I don't know how I feel about this Milio.
Yeah, the Zyra is a support ban away from Poodle. She does play that a lot, but champion that she plays a lot and is still open and available is actually the Lulu. So Dorado kind of expecting that the Enchanter's going to come out bot lane, so just going to pick up what they think is the better of the 2 Enchanters in the current meta. And we're going to get the volley lock-in potential here, and it is. That could be for Nation, but it could also be up in the top lane for So Easy. So we'll have to see where that ends up going as the rest of the draft does play out. But Conduit with a very strong mid-focus ban strategy here, banning away both Syndra and Orianna. 2 control mages who kind of feel like they don't have the weakest laning. They kind of just are stable in laning, and like you said, Orianna just really doesn't have a bad matchup, it feels like, especially because you can still solo kill Akali early in the game with this Orianna. And a big thing that's been popping up recently, thanks to, I believe it was Showmaker who started, was like the Bruiser Orianna build, where you just build a bunch of HP items into Akali and you still do a bunch of damage, and she can't solo kill you anymore. So I don't think we'll see that in this kind of competitive scene, but could always be a possibility because a lot of people who play here, they like to be derivative of what the pros do. So there's always the potential for that to start to pop up. But that's kind of the same way everybody is with League of Legends. They just follow what the best do. But Vigar. Okay, so I can tell you this. So Gabe Leo has been subbed in, I believe, for the mid lane for this game, and Vigar
Okay.
is his best champion by far. So that is why it is being first or just blinded here for him. But definitely an interesting draft approach going support mid top. So you're just leaving 80 carry counter, which isn't a real thing, and then top lane and then jungle counter, which also kind of isn't a real thing in a weird way. It is and it
Yeah,
isn't. Like it's so I think 80 carry counter pick is the fakest thing in League of Legends
yeah,
because
it's pretty fake.
they don't control how the lane goes. It's your support. Your support controls your lane. So support counter pick should always be R5. Should always be R5. It is the best counter pick in the game of League of Legends. No one will ever change my mind about this. Stop making me pick Braum on blue 2.
I feel like Aatrox. I feel like I see Aatrox into Cassante quite a lot, where opting into the Cassante side of the matchup, and Cassante into Vega might have a bit of a rough time getting to that backline, especially with the Emilio. But yeah, I agree. And it does feel a bit unfortunate to see, Emilio first pick and then there not be a counter to it, I guess. Trundle getting banned away makes sense with the Cassante on the red side. So not wanting a whole lot of that protection shred, although it does mean that the lane would have been a little bit awkward. I think, yeah, it does feel really strange to have your 80 carry be this late in the draft when your supporter's already picked up. I think that 80 carry 4 is pretty good, normally where we end up seeing it, if it's not, like a really strong combo. But if you're going Milio, you do need something to pair with it. Maybe it has been, Aphelios or Lucian in the past. Obviously, you can go towards something like a Jinx, which is getting banned now. Maybe a Twitch. You want damage enough to get through the Cassante and the Volibear frontline, but also something that pairs well with the Milia, right? You can't go a Kai'Sa. That's awful, even though it does do a lot of percent health damage. It's not enough CC. But the jungle as well for... Okay, the Aphelios being banned by themselves. I don't know about Aphelios Nami. I think it's just Lucian here, and for Conduit. It's such a great pick. It looks really strong with the Nami. We saw what it did last game, or last series, I should say. Anything else is really a surprise to me with the Nami. It could be Jhin. It's not a terrible Jhin game. Just sit back. But you don't have a ton of damage. You really need like a 0 on 5, which is also not getting looked at all. Quay. I agree with you. I think ADC counter pick is just useless. I think it's, if you just go Jhin here on 4, Jhin or Lucian mainly, it's a really good look. I don't think there's anything that can touch you right now, but it's white.
Yeah, I mean, so to talk about the Aphelios ban a little bit, Conduit has Manveer playing the 80 carry role. He is an Aphelios one trick, so it makes a lot of sense that's being banned away. Even if Aphelios Nami isn't the best lane, this guy's Aphelios is actually fantastic. So not surprised to see that banned away. But the Hui is being picked up here in the mid lane for Efron on the side of Conduit, which it's one of his best champions. I still don't like that we're leaving 80 carry for 5 here, but it's just kind of the way the draft played out, just because Conduit went with Volibear and then their choice of quote-unquote support counterpick with the Nami into Milio, and then because Dorado went with their mid lane and top lane, Conduit got to free counterpick one of those lanes of their choice, so they went with the Cassante into the Aatrox, and that's what we're getting in R580 carry, which is not something you typically see a lot anymore, almost ever, so kind of shocked. The last time I remember seeing, I think there was an R5 80 carry was when Gen G lost to KT and they R5'd Smolder into Yunara and then kind of just got blasted that game.
I mean, this is really old school, like a Tristana Nami, Tristana Thresh. Really old school kind of combo here. With the Ashe, I mean, you're relying on your Vega a whole lot and your Aatrox to get you through the fights. I do like the Xin, I guess, but the ton of range from Hui does feel a little rough. I think Xin Zhao's still a really good champion. Nice VGX. Wait, just turn down again. I just don't understand what happens. I don't understand. I don't understand. I'll try to keep checking over, but my mic is not happy with me. Yeah, so the Ashe can be really good, but at the same time, it can really lack damage. And the issue is that if the bot lane goes anywhere like it when we watched it in the last set, with Tristana just basically jumping in, it was Lucian last game, but this comp will kind of take away with the game. There's not a whole lot of like really playmaking or catch potential. Like when you're talking about how much value a comp has from behind, or even when you're not just throwing your wallet at the enemy, it's reliant on how you can start the fight. And right now, you're relying on Milio, like soccer kick. It's just turning down. This is it. I guess I've got to figure this out at some point.
All right, I'll let you figure that out, Gebetto, and I'll take over for you here. But I think the Ashe pick is actually pretty strong into the composition that Conduit has drafted, because Conduit literally has we need to run at you comp to get anything started with what they have. They have no real engage tool besides a Volibear stun and Kasante dragging somebody or flicking them back. But Ashe was really good into that, just kind of stalling that out, hitting those forever slows with that frost shot, with the volley, everything like that. But it also means like Dorado doesn't have the best engage either. It's like multi-man cage stuns from Vigar, knockups from Aatrox, knockup from Xin Zhao, Ashe Arrow, but I mean, the bot lane is definitely going to be where my eyes are in this game, because Ashe Milio is actually a super oppressive lane, just because that bonus damage that you get, or the bonus range you get from Cozy Campfire on Ashe, just slowing you down from even farther range makes it even harder to go in. But Tristana and Nami is going to want to be the aggressors in this matchup. Tristana just wants to jump on your face and do as much damage as possible, because you can't control the wave. Once you do get that explosive charge, you just auto push waves every single time. There's nothing you can do about it. It's not one of those ones where you can toggle off. So definitely going to be interesting in that one. And I'm really curious to see how this game plays out as a full 5v5, because like neither of these teams are really great at starting fights, but like they both have really strong disengage tools. So it's definitely going to be interesting when we do get to those objectives to see how these teams do face up against each other in that full 5v5.
I think I'm fixed. There's apparently a setting where you allow apps to take over audio control of your mic, and I had no idea, but I turned that off, so hopefully it's fixed. But yes, these are, at the end of the day, team fighting comps, which is fun for me to watch. I enjoy. I'm sure everyone enjoys that. But for these teams, there's not a whole lot of like really reliable late game. Vega obviously scales, but I think it's going to be determined by the jungle, how this Volibear interacts, and the bot lane. I think Ashe has been in the past one of the most impactful AD carries in the game, due to the fact that you can impact the map so specifically with A, Hawkshot, and B, Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Being able to, like, it's just a really high execution champion, which feels weird because of how simple the champion is. But if you're landing all your ults on different parts of the map, basing, ulting down mid, ulting up top, you can really impact the game like that. But if your Ashe isn't on point and you're not getting a ton of value from the vision, making plays around the vision is something that I'll be looking out for, and landing really nice ults, the Tristana will outscale you, will do more damage than you, and paired with the Nami, is a better like enchanter support in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Milio is kind of the king of enchanters, but definitely going to be an interesting game number one here. We saw Conduit with some interesting drafts last week and some interesting gameplay choices, so we'll have to see if that continues into this week. But with that, we are going to head into a short break here as we wait for the teams to finish up their in-client drafting and the spectator delay. So do not go anywhere. We'll be back for game number one in a short bit. And we are on the rift for game number 1 between Dorado Gaming and Conduit Esports. This could be a series to decide the fates of these teams heading into the playoffs. They're all going to get caught going into the jungle, and now Sunrise could actually be in a little bit of trouble. We got a little bit of substitution mayhem going on here. Sunrise actually taking a lot of damage here. So double wards used by the side of Conduit. So we got Pelly, who normally plays jungle for Dorado, who normally plays support for Dorado, playing in the jungle. Gabe Leo playing in the mid lane as a sub, and Sunrise stepping up as a sub as well to play in the support role. While the side of Conduit, we saw him last week do a full 180, 3 players out, 3 players in, basically a brand new roster.
That is pretty insane, to be honest. I had no idea that was the case, but changing your roster that significantly, that can't be good for your team synergy and how you're playing together, right? Like I feel like I know that it's a thing that happens quite often where players will continue to do like teams will continue to swap out, especially like role swap and things like that. But it just breaks your synergy, especially when it's important roles. But we're talking again about the barrier versus cleanse. Cleanse into the Ashe Veigar. It's understandable. And the Ashe having barrier. So have to see how that matchup ends up playing out. It should be a push for the Ashe due to the poke. However, Tristana with such great wave clear in general, matching that out.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting because, like, not at this point in the game, but like later on when like that first item does start to come through, this Tristana should have always the priority on the waves just because of that explosive charge passive that bounces off minions that you do kill. So level 2 is picked up here for the side of Conduit, and I'm kind of surprised we just didn't see Domination, aka Manveer, just jump in there with the rocket jump and just try to trade as much as possible with Poodle having the backup there, but I guess you're just okay kind of farming this one out early, catching waves, pushing it out and everything. And we see Pelly already down here on the bot side looking for an unusual Xin Zhao 3 camp gank or potential invade. They have the ward behind them, so they're going to see him trying to come in here. Pelly is looking to go in. When it becomes landing, lands onto Poodle. The Aqua Prison hits as well. Rocket Jump already used by Domination, and Pelly's the one getting a lot of damage dealt onto him. Sunrise shields up. Will show them all for some reason, and not his jungler to help him. So failed gank there by Pelly and loses a lot of tempo for it. If Nation was up on the top side, that whole top quadrant would have just been gone, and it would have been a terrible early start there for Pelly in the jungle. But luckily, Nation was on the same side of the map, playing the same way, so was able to go back and retrieve his blue side camps.
It's an interesting start from the jungler. Pelly going for this start that, I mean, if paid off, would have been really nice, but ends up costing him quite a lot of health and this clear speed. As you can see, Volibear is already full cleared, now onto the scuttle, and can now path down to this bot lane, wrap around, and go for this gank.
All right, Nation looking to go in here. The Mega Fire Kick already used there by Sunrise, and now he's going to have to flash away from the Sky Splitter as we pan back up to the top lane. So that means nothing happens in the bot lane. So easy, taking a lot of damage from Trouble Killer. Trouble Killer is on his main in this Aatrox. I've seen this man work wonders with this champion before. So easy, going to have a tough time up here in this 1v1.
But a bit of action in the pathing early game for this game, but not a whole lot of action in the kills. Nothing resulting in too much, as Xin Zhao will complete his clear, and despite there being still a delay in the respawns of the camp, will be even. This is actually a really nice Raptor invade if it's able to pay off. Could be a gang onto Efron here first, actually.
Yep, looking on the Efron, he's in the baby cage. He's gonna just flash out of this one and have to just deal with that summoner spell being burned. He even hits him with an emote. I don't think you have the right to emote when you're the one forced to use a summoner spell there. But now they could look to collapse onto Pelly. Efron's here, and Nation is on his way. Wind becomes laning is used as well as the audacious charge. Poodle is also here, and Pelly's gonna have to flash away. So Nation also flashed as well. So no emotes allowed because you went 1-for-1 on the flashes.
That was a really nice roam from Poodle. Takes an early base, comes out mid, opens out mid to cover for the Raptor invade. I'm going to be there around mid to cover for mid at least. Really, really nice play from the support of Conduit right now, as Milio was late on the roam and ends up walking halfway up the lane and then or up the river, sorry, and then back down to bot. So it doesn't end up resulting in a whole lot, but flashes across the board, blown like you mentioned. No flash, Zinzao, Hui, and the volley bear Milio flash was burnt on the earlier play before, but it's a volatile game. You know, either side starts getting away with it. Tristana getting those levels on Ash would be a really big deal, and obviously Vega with the stacks would also be a really big deal. But as of right now, it's a slow start.
Yeah, I mean, we've had action, but nothing coming from it. We'll have to see if these flash timers are able to be punished at any point to be able to make some more action happen for us. As it looks like Nation has just started up this dragon down here in the bot lane. It is an early cloud dragon, so not the highest priority by both teams here, but I think getting it off the rift and early dragon stacking is very important to do in this game, considering both teams are like kind of even-ish in late game scaling. Just like besides like the Vigar who does infinitely scale, everybody knows it. But like getting that cloud, or sorry, getting the Dragon Soul as fast as possible can be a big boon in this game.
And unfortunately, though, two really fun souls off the board. Cloud Soul with Aatrox, really, really fun. Infernal Soul, obviously, always fun. But here's a brawl. Sun's behind.
Right, so we're seeing Nation go in. Sunrise just, oh my god, take so much damage from that explosive charge. Now Nation gonna try to walk this one away from Will Show Them All. But the first blood, I mean, hey, you could say it's okay by the side of Dorado because Poodle was actually the one picked that one up. The Aqua Prison just misses there onto Will Show Them All. And he's actually gonna cancel the Nation port as well, but still in a whole lot of danger down here in the spot lane. But Conduit picking up first blood.
Really nice gank. Good pathing from Nation there. Cashing out the support with no flash. Very simple gameplay. Nice execution. One drag into them as well in a good spot as Pelly passes to the top side, spotted on a ward. Low HP. This is a dive that has to work. There's no cover here in time. So easy. Tanks the W, and here comes the dive.
All right, so the flick back doesn't hit. He's going to use that W to try to stall for as long as possible. The all out comes as well, but it does not matter because Trouble Killer just tanks up the turret with that World Ender and then is able to pick up the kill. So ends up working out just because of how low So Easy's HP bar was. I think maybe there's a world where he could play it a little bit better with the use of Pathmaker and stuff like that. And maybe if that flick back hits early, but I mean, rough situation there for So Easy. He was forced to just do his best in that one. I think in that play, you just kind of save ultimate and go next on it.
Yeah, really nice play from Dorado as they execute a really nice dive. Get a kill onto the Aatrox and a nice plate for the two of them to share. Now Grub's getting started up and in a good position now, Dorado, despite the awkward start in the bot lane. And remember, despite the said awkward start, it was this Nami, Poodle, who ended up picking up that kill. So it wasn't even like domination, able to get a really strong start. CS is completely even in the bot side, but it's good to see Dorado fighting back despite that start, finding a strong lane, and my mind is still on how much control this Ashe will have. What a name, by the way. We'll show them all. That's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, pretty good at name, honestly. But now So Easy and Trouble Killer are trading back and forth. Even Tofu Strike flick back does hit as well, and Trouble Killer can have a little bit worse time in this matchup now that that Bramble Vest has been picked up by So Easy, but I think overall Trouble Killer is going to be fine for the most part. It's really only going to affect him when he does use that World Ender, look for these longer trades. But those ultimates for both these top laners looking to come back up soon. So Easy going back up there with that footwork and trying to go in with Pathmaker as well, doing a little bit of damage. Now the flash comes out there from Trouble Killer. The all out
Oh.
is not used yet, but the World Ender was popped by Trouble Killer and now Nation sitting in this bottom brush. looking for an opportunity to go in. Sunrise taking a whole lot of damage. The explosive charge just not get the third hit because the slows coming out from Will Show Them All. Now he's pressing forward, trying to look to trade on this one. Now Nation is going to be spotted as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out thanks to the Hawk Shot. And like you said, if you play this as efficiently, it works out. And immediately Will Show Them All throws the Hawk Shot into the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, sees Nation is there, and then can just go, hey, I can back away from this play.
He did show them all. He didn't, show them anything himself, but he showed that where they were. Now
Oh,
Nation's
Nation's
back
actually
down
still
here.
here. But Pelly's
Pelly
also here.
was there.
Rocket jump in, and now the huge knock up, and then Poodle's already dead. Domination's trying to trade this one out, but not going to be able to, as Will Show Them All picks up that kill, and now Nation's going to have to run away. But you are being slowed for 7 eons, and a double kill for Pelly, and it was a bait and switch there by the junglers. Pelly the one waiting and waits, and it works out perfectly for the side of Dorado.
Yeah, so far it's been a Pelly masterclass so far. The gank up in top, the dive, giving the kill over to Trouble Killer, and now down in bot lane, really nice hover, finding some kills, and a really sizable lead in the bot lane, but also in the jungle. Now, Xin Zhao, one of those champions that does pretty well later on in the game. Not, the most scaling jungler, but up against this Volibear that will fall off a cliff and just become a stun bot. And then a time that you can buy with the Xin Zhao against this Hui. I mean, you can just immune all of the damage and try to play a front to back comp. Now, second dragon, maybe getting started up here. Just some vision getting cleared out right now. But positions and spades for Dorado. Their ADC is in base. They have to be careful not to overplay until We'll Show Them All is able to come back, push out this bot wave, and then start the dragon up. But a really strong position for Dorado.
Yeah, and I think we'll show them all through a hawk shot and a wave. Oh no, they had a ward in the brush. They see domination recalling, so they don't even need we'll show them all for this one just because there's going to be no contest coming out from Conduit. So they're just able to pick this one up. Basically, Pelly by himself, a little bit of help there from Sunrise before we'll show them all comes back because Sunrise has no reason to be in the lane. But it is now 1-for-1 on dragons. The 1 feat of monster slaying away for the side of Dorado, 2 claiming all the overall feats, but we'll show them all actually gets bubbled up here. And is able to trade back okay, not taking too much damage because it was just Poodle going for that one, but one more neutral away from claiming the full feats of warfare, or sorry, the feats of strength here in this game number 1. Also pretty good start as Nation is actually invading up on the top side.
But pathing up is this Hui, and the Volibear is behind. Could get claps on in the Scuttle Crab. So easy, pathing down 2.
Oh, Nation finds Gabe Leo, has to flash away, and the ultimate from Efron also used there. Now, Nation taking a whole lot of damage from Pelly, has to use that ultimate himself. The Trouble Killer is trying to get into this one as the ult from Pelly is used. So easy, taking a lot of damage and trying to go back onto this one. So he's doing everything. He goes all out, drags Pelly away, is able to get the shutdown, but now he's in the pit alone against Trouble Killer. Trouble Killer going to look to pull him back with those Infernal Chains as Efron is trying to help out his top lane as much as possible. But the BB Cage being there means so easy has no way to go, and Gabe Leo picks up that kill with a Primordial Burst.
Really
Poodle
nice
actually might fall down here. A lot of damage coming out from the bot lane, and Will Show Them All is able to pick up that kill. And I was looking to trade on Domination. Domination has to use the Buster Shot to just keep himself alive, and that is the power of Ashmilio. As I stated, this lane is oppressive with the combo of their 2 kits, and we saw exactly how oppressive it can be there.
I was a bit caught off there by that kill. I mean, Poodle still had flash here. This is just another kill. Just under tower, staying there, greeting this wave. And this Nami was picked into the Milio. Remember, this was first pick Milio. And Nami was the answer. I'm really like, there is no reason to go for support counterpick when I guess the enemy team can't counterpick your first pick Milio. It feels really awkward for Conduit. It's a really big weakness to say, yeah, we actually can't do anything if you do that. We have nothing to play against it. And if you do pick first pick Milio and get off to a, like, if no one's able to gank down and play, if Nation doesn't get some really nice ganks at the start, it just will look like this. Now Pelly again up in the top lane.
whole lot of trouble here. Does have flash, flashes away, but it doesn't matter because they're gonna just be able to chase him down once this wave does come in. Gabe Leo is also up here, the all out, just not quite available just yet. He's put into the cage and he is taken out just as quickly. Gabe Leo picking up another kill there with that primordial burst, and it is off to the races for the side of Dorado here.
Tower getting taken. Objective bounty is already spawning at 15 minutes. A huge lead for Dorado. 8-2 of the kills, and Herald is getting taken. Now, Gabriel does need to be a little bit careful. If you look at the positions right now from Conduit, they are all setting up for this bot dive around this Drake. It'll be spotted out by a blue orb, but Gabriel is still here. Wants to defend this tower and get the cannon. I think Gabriel's just dead here.
It depends on if they go in, because it looks like they're not going yet. Maybe once Nation is here, they will. And now that Nation's here, they're looking to go in onto this one. Poodle actually taking a whole lot of damage. Tidal Wave is used to knock him out, and then the explosive charge is there. Actually, almost falls down at the end is Poodle. But now with the Rift Herald, they're just going to get another charge here. Efron's TPing into his own death. He's in the middle of 3, and what are we doing? Rift Herald going to get another charge into the inhibitor turret here.
Okay, that was on purpose, definitely.
Yeah. That was it. I was gonna say revoke this man's license, but we're gonna hold that thought as the all out comes in on the world show them all. But now Pelly's also up here doing a whole lot of damage. Poodle trying to keep the top laner alive. It's so easy, but it is not enough, and he ends up falling down. Now Pelly takes another turret shot. Domination is on his way in. Domination could just bust a shot onto world show them all, but he actually doesn't. They go the other way. Pelly still dies to the turret. Poodle picks up the AD carry and a nice use of the kick of fire, whatever the name is. I'm not looking at it right now. Is able to disengage the Tristana away, and a little zealous to go for the top lane turret with no wave. You could have just drove it into the inhibitor turret.
Yeah, you didn't even need to drive. It would have crashed on its own. It's a someone report my team. I don't, whoever's saying that, that was very questionable. Pele dies to the tower. It's all around just some questionable decisions. Now, late on tempo for this Drake allows Conduit to set up first if they wanted to, but instead we're all splitting mid-wave. Coming out mid together will give Dorado some time to walk back into the pit. Midwave is getting contested here, but will go towards Conduit. Dragon is now spawned. Trouble bubbled over the wall.
All right, now the dragon is starting to be positioned for it here. Both teams just kind of facing off in the jungle. Pele actually goes in, gets some damage onto So Easy, but a tidal wave is used onto Pele. Pele's going to take a lot of damage, not as much as I expected on the backside. Now So Easy is trying to create some space for the team. Trouble Killer is also trying to do the same, healing up Pele as much as possible. Is Sunrise with that cozy campfire, and now the mid push is actually there for the side of Dorado. They could just give this over. You could just take an inhibitor turret at 18 minutes into the game. You don't have to go for this. Trouble Killer gets flicked back as Pele's looking for the flank angle onto the backside. He's going in onto Efron and uses that ultimate, but Nation is right there to stun him up immediately. Domination is actually playing in it, but he's actually taking so much damage. Nation uses the ultimate to get back onto Pele. Domination jumps in with the rocket jump. They pick up 1. They pick up 2. They're looking for more, but Trouble Killer gets so easy on the backside. No, Trouble Killer is taking a team fight. There's so much damage. A 2-man knockup. Pele with the triple, and what was looking like Conduit is turned immediately once Trouble Killer gets back with the team. They're gonna get the dragon. They're gonna get the inhibitor turret I mentioned, and this is Dorado's game to lose after that team fight.
I mean, over in the back end of that fight on one of the sides, down near the red buff, Trouble Killer just solo kills So Easy in this top lane matchup. And then with Worldender just runs over to the fight and ends it. Just a full stop in that team fight. Now, it's only second Drake. With this big gold lead, which is kind of absurd, like how early this game still is. It's still only 20 minutes. Atakan hasn't spawned. It's only 2 Drakes to Dorado. So there still is opportunities for Conduit to find ins. It's not like they've taken everything, but it's over nearly a 7,000 gold lead. It's becoming rougher and rougher for Conduit to take these fights, especially when they have no answer for Pele and no answer for Trouble.
Yeah, I mean, that was almost as good of a fight you could have on the side of Conduit, but Nation and Domination just ended up popping out of nowhere when they tried to finish off Pelly on the backside. The Sundered Sky healing was actually so massive in that fight for Pelly because it actually kept him alive. And then Sunrise able to get back in there and help with the healing as well. So, I mean, you had one of the best looks you could as the side of Conduit, and it just was not enough. Trouble Killer rejoins the fight, actually causes so much chaos, especially with Gabe Leo having that baby cage there. Just made it so difficult as Otacon is started up here by the side of Dorado. But with the wave states, you have both solo laners bot lane right now for the side of Conduit.
And this is one of the games where, I mean, sometimes we talk about Atacon being a bit of an awkward throw, but this one's free, completely for free. Enchanted Crystal Arrow will get cleansed away by Domination as the wave interrupts Trouble Killer, but it does have World Ender. And here he comes. Nice bubble.
Nice bubble by Poodle. Keeps herself alive. And I mean, they also got Gabe Leo's TP out in that play. So, I mean, that's a good play for Conduit to be able to survive that one. And, you know, just kind of burn the cooldowns before the dragon does spawn in the next 2 minutes. Gabe won't have TP, but World Ender obviously will be back up in that time as well as Enchanted Crystal Arrow. But we're also starting to get to that point of the game where the Enchanted Crystal Arrow cooldown is shorter than the Cleanse cooldown. So Domination could be in some trouble going on in these team fights if it's able to be used effectively by Will Show the Mall, who's having a pretty stellar game so far on this Ashe.
And that was one of my critiques in the draft, is that the Ashe needed to find the value, and it has, but I would be a bit disingenuous to not continue to glaze this top side of Dorado. It has just been outstanding so far. The team play, the individual play mechanically has looked really, really strong. This position is incredible for Dorado. They have control of all the jungle, all the river. Dragon is still 2 minutes away. It doesn't matter. They've got full control of the map. Now, this is a situation, however, where if you aren't an experienced team, or at least a comfortable team, these positions can be quite volatile. And the reason is that you get antsy and you feel like you want to end the game should be over, but there isn't really a way that you can end the game because you've got pretty decent wave clear with Hui, right? You've got nice anti-engage with a Nami. All Dorado need to do is just be patient and wait and keep vision control, stagger their bases as they've done right now, sending these hawk shots. Do not get caught. Keep the 1-3-1 going as they have really nicely here, and just do nothing. Don't give over anything. Obviously, if there's a big mistake that gets made by Conduit, by all means, go and punish that. But stack the dragons, get out of calm, make a really nice setup instead of just trying to force the out of calm, and then get Baron when it's on the table. It is Ocean Soul. This is the second game that we've seen Ocean Soul, but with Aatrox and Xin Zhao, no Sundered Sky for Aatrox. I would have loved a Sundered Sky, but Sundered Sky for Xin Zhao. So, and obviously Aatrox still has a bunch of healing, but it's not just the healing that makes Ocean Soul really strong, you know, obviously with the melee, but it's the elongated fights. This is not a one-shot comp, and Conduit's draft is not getting one-shot either. So Ocean Soul gets a ton more value when both comps want to brawl it out longer. So Ocean Soul, really nice this game, something that Dorado will be playing for. Here's the arrow, but stun isn't long enough. Poodle forced a flash away, actually.
And
She's
just dead instantly. I mean, you look away for a second and you're just gone, and that's massive with the dragon spawning in 20 seconds. No flash, no tidal wave, and not even on the rift to be able to see it fall down. I mean, another thing that I think is interesting in this game is that Pelly didn't go with the normal Xin Zhao build of going with that Titanic Hydra first item for those auto resets. Just went for the full Sundered Sky and Hysterics Gauge. So actually does survive a lot longer than a lot of Xin Zhaos at this point in the game, which can make it difficult for these team fights for Conduit, which also kind of plays into the composition that Dorado has with the Melio healing that's coming out, especially getting closer to that Ocean Soul. But Conduit at least makes the best of a bad play and is able to get some standing gold on this map, picking up that top lane turret. But overall, this game is looking harder and harder, and so easy is caught out, and this is not going to be able to escape from this one. Just hold the summoners, hold the ultimate. You are not getting out of here, buddy, as Pelly picks up their 8th kill of the game.
And this was something that I was critiquing a little bit earlier, but it has looked really, really strong. The Ashe, the team play, the Veigar, these are things that I have seen go really wrong in the past, but Dorado playing it really, really well. As Baron will spawn, and even with a pick, you can go towards the Baron, but just look for a pick. Play it slow, set up your vision, use these hawk shots. Don't change up your gameplay too drastically. Right, for Conduit, you're not able to force a Baron. I mean, this is a risk, right? There is a ward in the pit, and we are forcing Baron. This
It's all.
gives the opportunity for Conduit to come in, but it's burning so quickly, actually.
I don't
Here
know.
comes
Nation gonna
Nation.
try to get in there, and just a little too late on the animation to get over that wall. I think you just flash the wall instead of ulting and then try to steal it that way because of the animation timer. But that got extremely close. If Nation stole that, that is such a gold swing because you get there and you get the objective bounty as well. It would have been a massive swing in Conduit's favor in this game, and probably breathe some life back in their team. It's so easy, just going to get walked down here. Normally, you don't get walked down unless there's a karma putting you on a chain. But I mean, just able to do that as Ashe is terrifying at this point in the game.
I'm just thinking of like all the tweets from Project Ashe that I've seen about how weak Ashe is, and then I'm watching this game. I mean, like, no, Ashe when played well and with a gold lead does feel pretty strong. Obviously, there's a lot of gold on this Ashe. Sure, every champion in the game is going to feel this way, but that's still a Cassante with a lot of armor. Now, top tier 2 getting taken down pretty much for free. Enchanted Crystal Arrow still available to get used. There is a Mikhail's for Poodle that can be used as well to counter that. So, gotta play it slow here. Let the bot wave push up, let the super minions push in to the mid lane, and slowly but surely take these towers. There is no need to rush. There is no need to make any Hail Mary plays. You are in full control of this game. And tier 2 bot will fall. Slowly, this tier 3, this inhib turret will fall as well. It's a clinical game, almost like a surgery for Dorado as they cut open Conduit's base and potentially look for the end, or maybe just this bot side.
Yeah, I think they're going to play this out slowly. So easy, flashes forward. They catch, will show them all. They're going to try to get the damage. Pelly's in the backline doing so much to Nation. So easy, going to use the all out to bring Pelly closest to the team. Baby Cage is there. It stuns up Nation. Nation goes down super low. But now Will Show Them All is back in the fight, healing up quite well. Enchanted Crystal Arrow to use Domination. Going to try the best Pester shots. Pelly away. So easy, still alive for so long. Efron getting close to killing Will Show Them All, but not able to. Gabe Leo is able to pick that one up. Efron with the snipe on the Will Show Them All could be a turning point here as everybody's coming back with HP bars. Efron going to try to run this one out, but he gets pulled out by the infernal chains. And Trouble Killer picks up that one. The third inhib falls. Nation in the backside going out to Gabe Leo. This is the opportunity. Stunned by the Baby Cage is Domination as he tries to go in. He ends up getting the kill onto Gabe Leo. Uses the rocket jump away to try to get back out of here, and he's running for the hills. He's not going to be able to escape Pelly. Pelly's able to pick up a double kill here, and now it is Poodle against 3 Baron buffs, and that is not enough. That is not a winning recipe as Dorado Gaming claims game number 1.
Really solid performance, basically from front to back. It all starts with a missed gank down in the bot side for Nation and a proactive gank up in the top from Pele. That dive really set the tone for the game. And after that, the ball was rolling and it never stopped. Really solid game 1 here from Dorado. And you've got to think, again, this was a Milio first pick, which it's not like, my point is with this, because I've been harping on it a little bit, it's not a blind pickable support. It's not, I mean, there isn't really that many blind pickable supports. There's actually 0 in game 1. They all have things that you could play something into, right?
Alistair.
But yeah, yes. Maybe Alistair is pretty strong these games, but we don't see it enough, unfortunately. The Millia gets picked first, and the Ashe lands with it, and you are able to see a lot of the bot lane, like, the bot lane numbers just aren't high enough from Conduit. As simple as it is, and I'm really not a look at damage done person when it comes to these, like, any kind of organized play. I think it's a complete bait, and if you do, it's never a good idea. But in this game specifically, 22,000 damage on an Ashe compared to Tristana, like 9k. Tristana damage can often be fake. It's AoE, explosive charges. It's, an ult, it's your autos. With Ashe, it is just all, I am space gliding on you all game and you can't play the game. Really well played from the bot lane from Dorado. Extremely well played from the top side. I love watching a good Aatrox. It's really nice to see a really nice Aatrox getting played. And a jungle clinic, a really solid game from Dorado.
All right, I gotta ask you the question now, Gebetto. Who is the MVP for game number 1?
Ooh, it's got to be Pelly. It's got to be this Xin Zhao. I mean, not the highest damage, but you're a jungler. That's not your job. Everywhere on the map in the early game. And some of these fights really saved by the combination top side, but just a really solid game from this Xin Zhao.
All right, couldn't have said it better myself. With that, we are going to head to a short break here as teams get ready for game number 2 draft. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple of moments. back for game number 2 between Conduit and Dorado. Conduit electing to go onto the blue side, keeping their bans the same so far, but Dorado already switching up the bans, banning away the Lulu and the Zyra this game, trying to pinch Poodle's champion pool, and we'll see if that is going to be an effective strategy for this draft here in game 2. But what do you want to see changed here in this draft, Gebetto, for Conduit or potentially even for Dorado?
Yeah, I think that my issue was with the support. Not necessarily like the gameplay, but if you're going to get a counter pick, you need to be able to counter pick it, right? And, I'm not going to talk about it anymore after this, about that last game, but yeah. Everyone, I guess, now knows how I feel. Jarvan getting banned away from Dorado. I spoke about that a little bit before. We saw it in our first set today. Not get the most success, but it is really, really strong just in general. And I'm guessing that means Dorado want to go something that has immobility. So Orianna still up. That's something that that was banned in game 1. So could be a Conduit first pick here towards the Orianna, which it is. Okay, so now the Jarvan does suck. The Jarvan ban does suck. Because, okay, yeah, there's a combo between Jarvan and Orianna, but you can go Jarvan into Orianna because she's immobile. Now that's taken off the table. Wukong's banned away as well. There's no Xin Zhao. The jungle pool's getting pinched here, and you're looking at, Vi for these bruiser junglers. And then you're looking at full tanks, Sejuani, Maokai, Skarner, or a full carry, Kiana, something like that. But with the Ahri, I would be shocked if anything other than Vi gets locked in. I agree with your shaking of the head. Ahri has really fallen off in prior, especially against something like an Orianna. Orianna is so much more lane dominant. I'm going to be mad if there's not a Vi, at least on 3. It doesn't have to be here, but in the first 3 here. Okay, never mind. Pantheon's fine too.
I wasn't shaking my head to the Ahri. I was shaking it to you saying Kiana. I don't want to see anybody in this ELO play Kiana jungle. I've seen it played by pros in LCK, and that already looked bad enough. If anybody saw Kiana, keep that for the LPL. You don't team fight enough in the LCK for Kiana to be effective.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, to talk about the Jarvan ban a little bit more, I think Dorado also maybe potentially wanted a Sivir angle, and that's why they banned away the Jarvan, because Sivir just does nothing against Jarvan. You get put into Cataclysm, and you just kind of try to fight for your life and hope the best works out. But Pantheon Ahri, very, very strong 2v2 mid-jungle duo. The damage that this duo has is immense, but Poppy going to be the pick here for Conduit. Now, I'm curious how much they can flex it. If this can go into the support, it can potentially go in the top depending on the matchup where it's hyper-specific, or if it's just going to be the jungle pick. But Sivir going to be picked here by the side of Conduit, and Sivir could actually really struggle in this game. She has a short range, and they already have some pretty strong CC lockdown on the side of Dorado with the Ahri and Pantheon, and if they time it up correctly, the spell shield can just be worthless, because if you throw the Ahri charm and you spell shield it, Pantheon can just jump on your face and stun you.
It is still a, later hyper carry, L9 type champion where I'm just going to right click you to death. Aphelios or Jinx, the considerations here for Dorado. Jinx will be the lock in. This is a thing. I won't call it a phenomenon because it's not that serious, but it is a really interesting thing that keeps happening in tier 3 Fearless draft. Where game 1, in my opinion, the drafts are just all over the place. We're going Milio first pick, and Veigar, and Volibear, and then the later in the draft goes, this game is game 2. This looks like a really solid draft. Okay, maybe the Sivir and the Jinx a bit early in the draft, but Orianna first pick, really nice, matched by Ahri Pantheon. Really, really solid 2v2 combo, and then Poppy flex into the mobility of the Ahri and the Pantheon. This is a really good draft from both teams so far. We've got 2 hyper carries here with the Jinx and the Sivir. While maybe not the highest of priors in these spots, I think Sivir's really strong as a champion in general, but you're right, can get kind of, you can smite off the spell shield too if you've timed it right. Still not uncommon, not like these things haven't been really strong in the past year. Obviously Sivir coming into a bit a bit more recently. But support's definitely the look in here. Seraphine and Leona getting banned away. I'm not a huge fan of the Seraphine. I think that it is quite volatile, especially when Poppy could be support. And maybe you just opt to ban something a bit more like reliable. I think the Braum is a really good ban. That's more what I'm referring to. The Braum Sivir is really strong. It's great against the Pantheon, but I think you're looking. I mean, you could look top or support here with a bunch of support bans. I feel like you look support. I think Nautilus looks really good here now. I know that Alistar is probably the best, but we're not going to pick Alistar, so it is going to be the Nautilus locked in, which feels really good with Jinx.
I mean, other strong supports that were up, like we still have Rel, we have Rakan. Obviously, the Nautilus is still up, but I think the side of Conduit kind of wants an Enchanter to go with Sivir, but like they also need Engage. So like you're kind of now looking at like Rakan, Rel, Alistar, maybe even Renata for like some weird.
Oh,
Hold on,
yes,
it's a hover. It's a hover. Wait, hold on. Don't get too excited. It's locked in.
There it is.
Yes, finally. Okay.
The cow.
The best support in the game right now, unironically. Alistar feels like he has zero counterplay in his current strength in the game. Like, there is a reason that, like, professional teams are banning the support and first picking the support. That is how strong Alistar feels right now for everybody involved. He kind of just does everything. He has Engage. He has Peel. He has frontline potential. He has Spellbook. He has Redemption, as every support should. Redemption is really strong.
Whoa. Vladimir top lane. We got some scaling on this draft for Conduit. I like it. This is some spice here.
I don't
Overall,
like it.
It's all close range outside of the Jinx. But, look, maybe it's not the best pick. Like, Renekton here goes way better. But it's just spicy. And I don't, hate Vladimir.
It's too much scaling. It's far too much scaling. And the early game comp is what Dorado has. They have Pantheon Ahri.
I don't hear no trash talk in the vampire here, alright? My boy is going Vladimir. Down match point. So
this is your playoff life on the line, and we're picking blind pick Vladimir top.
It's
don't
something.
Alright. Anyway.
Renekton was up and safe and playable.
Or Mbessa.
Yeah, Mbessa too, yeah. You could have gone Ornn or Sion, but Vladimir is the option. The Mordekaiser into it will make the lane quite tough, like even more so. Mordekaiser will just be in your face smacking you. Although, Vladimir's range, sort of, what is it, like 450 range? Can you even count that as ranged?
It's like Lilia range, where she's coded as ranged, but she has like 300 something range. Like, she's basically melee champ.
Either way, we get Alistar. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I still think, now that Alistar's been picked, I can say, okay, Poppy's there. I can see, maybe you don't want to go Alistar on 4 there for Dorado. But Jinx Alistar's really good. It is more set up and engaged with Pantheon Ahri. And again, like I said before, it's really good into Sivir. Nautilus, however, not the best into Sivir. You spell shield the hook really easily. You can spell shield the ult really easily, as long as you just walk backwards and then press E when depth charge is about to hit you. But sorry, is it death from below? I don't remember.
And Poppy's still there. If you hit the hook, Poppy can just put up that steadfast presence, and you are on the outside ring. I mean, look, I think you still pick Alistar as Dorado on 4. Who cares if there's a Poppy?
I agree.
Just flash into 4 members and hit your Q. Like, it's that easy. But, I mean, Nautilus Jinx does have a lot of, CC lockdown, kind of immediately. If you hit the Dredge line, you hit them with the Nautilus passive, and the explosive traps are under, the Flame Choppers are under them. They're CC'd for about, 4 seconds, it feels like. So it is a lot of CC. Nautilus is one of those feast or famine supports where if you're ahead, he looks great. If you're behind, you got 12 deaths trying to engage for your team, is how that champion ends up going.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm really curious to get your insight on who you think has the better draft here.
Look, okay. So, I'm not the biggest fan of the Nautilus. I think that it makes like a lot of sense. I understand the pick, um, the combo, but I think there were better options. Like I think Alistair is just better. Um, the core of Dorado is really good though, and with the Nautilus, I'm saying that I don't like the Nautilus because I'm looking at it on paper, right? On paper, Alistair can push you away really like before you're able to get in. Civic and Spell Shield all your stuff. Poppy W can really do some work. That's when executed really well. What it could happen is Sivir just gets hit by every hook and Spell Shields late and dies to Jinx anyway, right? We saw that in the first set, where Sivir's playing against Thresh and didn't Spell Shield a single ability. Poppy is one of those champions that you need to be really good with your timings and your abilities. You know, your stuns have to go into the wall. The W needs to get value. The Keeper's Verdicts need to get value. And this is also an on-paper thing, but Nautilus can buff a Keeper's Verdict pretty easily if you know how to do it and your timing is right, like your reaction time is fast enough. I think Dorado's combo is really solid. I love Orianna. Like, Orianna is the silver lining for Conduit, in my opinion. It is such a ridiculous mid laner, and there are great ball targets, right? Poppy Alistar can be carriers of the shockwave, but I think Dorado have such an easy comp. It's just CC the first target, CC chain them into oblivion, and they die, right? Whatever's first, out of Charm, Pantheon Stun, Nautilus Hook, the others will follow. And then if that's not enough, you've got Jinx Traps and Nautilus Ult. The person getting hit by that is dead, no matter what, if you chain it correctly. It's up to Dorado to execute, but I think that draft is really solid.
Right. Well, we'll have to see if Dorado is able to execute on this draft here in game number 2, or if Conduit's spice of a little bit of blood is going to be enough to get them to that game 3 and hang on to playoff hopes. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. we are on the Rift for game number 2 between Conduit Esports and Dorado Gaming. Playoff hopes on the line, and we have the Alistair. He has Spellbook,
Boy,
but
skin check, skin check, skin check. Oh, it is. It's
we
Elderwood, no?
it's Elderwood. Yes, it's Elderwood. But another thing, they didn't take heal. They took exhaust. If you're going
Spellbook,
Spellbook,
though.
yeah, but if you're going Spellbook, you take heal because it's the shortest cooldown summoning spell that you want as a support. And now Nasia gets hooked in the mid lane. Gonna take a little bit of poke, but it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a Poppy. So we'll Poppy jungle, sorry. So we'll just be able to heal up off of the camps, but denying some invade potential. As you can see, all of the spaces. Gabriel gets spotted out, and a headbutt will push them back to wave. Poodle, you do need to go to your AD carries lane. Thank you.
No, they're gonna lane in mid lane. We're gonna get the lane swap detected, and that's gonna be, it's gonna be the
Yeah.
game.
There was that happened in LCK yesterday.
Yes,
They got lane
yes,
swap
that
detected,
was,
and yeah.
yep, that was a fun pause
That was
in game 5.
Yeah, it was a pause for ages to then be like, yeah, there was no bug. It was wrong. But
Yep.
you can already see the trading of this Orianna taking the better end of that, and it feels bad when you're Ari with Electrocute. You know, you want to be proccing that, getting some nice trades, but Orianna so strong in the meta right now, and I assume that this lane will continue to go that way. Jungle is starting on opposite sides of the map, meaning that the Poppy will end top side, unless we want a Nation 3 camps into bot play. Poodle taking quite a lot of damage. This is just the L you have to take his Alistair. Maybe you didn't want to take that much, damage in general, but you're not the strongest level 1 support in the game. You're really not the strongest support at all until, you get ult. You have access to Spellbook after 6 minutes, and you've got all your abilities unlocked. Redemption comes in. It's going to be a take the L kind of situation for this bot lane for a while. But with Sivir, stun out in mid.
Efren has to flash the charm, and that actually keeps him alive. So, luckily, he gets the flash there. As the Comet Spear comes out, not going to do much. Pele just spending a little bit extra time, but both flashes used from the mid jungle on the side of Dorado in exchange for Efron's flash. Doesn't go down, but just going to have a rough time until he gets that recall off and gets a TP back to lane.
Yeah, it's a really nice play from Dorado, forcing, it's 2 for 1 in terms of flash, but that's an Orianna no flash against Pantheon Ahri. That will feel quite strong if a repeat gank comes through. Really nice headbutt plus the spell
stunned
shield.
up is going to be... Wait, we're flashing in as Sunrise gets knocked up by Poodle. Poodle taking a lot of damage from Will Show Them All. Has to flash away from this, but now Domination is looking to trade back into Will Show Them All. But Flash Ignite used by Sunrise for the flash of Poodle. I mean, that was a weird passage of play down there in the bot lane.
I would have preferred I mean, maybe you're just not confident in the turn damage, due to like barrier and everything, but I feel like Exhaust not getting used there and Flash getting used there, maybe not the right order. I know you have Hex Flash, but you've got Exhaust for a reason, If you had Heal there and you just popped Heal as soon as that happened, you wouldn't have taken any damage because the movement speed would have gotten you out. So, something you were talking about a bit earlier, but Flash burned. Bot lane looking strong so far for Dorado, but Domination being able to chill there, clear the wave, push it out, take a base themselves. Obviously, Sivir having mana problems in the early game before you get your Essence Reaver. I know that there's a conversation about Sivir item starts, whether you go Yuntal or Essence Reaver, but it's all about what you can base for. If you can base for a full BF sword, you can go Yuntal. Pardon me. If you can't, then it's this double longsword -1 Efron. Here comes the gang from Samurai.
Sunrise in the mid line, and Efron doesn't have flash, and now he's going to be in a whole lot of trouble. The charm doesn't come out from Gabe Leo just yet, but now it does, and that's going to be first blood over to Gabe Leo. A nice roam timer there from Sunrise out of base and punishing the flashless mid laner as Poodle goes in, but Domination just not in range to do anything, and with Sunrise coming back, just do not want to extend this any farther, and they're not just hard shutting this wave, so it's kind of be slow pushing into them there. They know Nation is coming, so that could be the reason for doing that. Spell Shield gets used, so now Sunrise has a potential angle.
Right, we use the Spell Shields to block abilities. I like it. I'm a fan of this Sivir right now, at least. But yeah, really nice roam from Sunrise to the mid lane to punish that flash. Again, Oriana still has no flash, so could still keep going.
Oh, the hook hits onto Nation as Poodle tries to go in, but they're going to get both stunned up by the Flame Chompers forgetting they're there, and now they're looking to go into We'll Show Them All. They stun up Sunrise into the wall. They're able to get the first kill on the Poodle. No reset coming out from the Jinx yet, but with Peli here, they're going to get excited. We'll Show Them All is looking to go in and get a lot of damage down the chase it after Nation. Nation doesn't have flash, so We'll Show Them All flashes in, gets another kill for themselves, and now Peli's actually taking a lot of damage from Domination and Efron on the back, but now they're looking to go back in. Gabe Leo's here. Gabe Leo has level 6. They could look to push this one in. Peli gets hit by the attack dissonance, so does not want to press this any further. But 3 kills picked up in that passage, or sorry, 2 kills picked up in that passage by the side of Dorado to give them the feats of warfare.
Some nice mechanics there on the top lane to get trouble out of trouble. But yep, really nice play down in bot. It looked quite good for Conduit, but key part of that is Nation using W kind of for no reason. Doesn't catch the hook and stun Sunrise, then uses W, and then it wears off before Peli gets around, so can't interrupt the Pantheon stun either. This is what I'm talking about a bit with this Poppy, with this comp in general, where on paper, a Shockwave clips Gabriel and pulls him on the tower.
Alright, Gabe takes a lot of damage, but no backup there, so no kill. But Nation could actually look for a wraparound gank here. He's actually going to the Raptors, and now so easy. He's taking a lot of damage up in the top lane, and he tries to get the heal from the Humo Plague and from the Tides of Blood, but he flashes away, and Trouble Kill is still chasing. He's getting that Sanguine bar back up. He has the pool there, so he's able to just get away. Oh, Super Mega Death Rocket not connecting.
That's it's so easy. So he goes and base is in a bit of a safer spot, but yeah, nice all in there from Trouble Killer as the lane hasn't been going all in his favor so far. Quite a big CS gap so far. I mean, so easy, no TP. So in these all-ins, so easy will be favored, but Troublemaker around the map will be a little bit more impactful, especially with the Death Realm onto crucial targets. I mean, you can take away the Keeper's Verdict by simply ulting the Poppy, and then these dragon fights become a lot easier. Hook it onto the Alistar.
A little late on the headbutt, sorry, on the pulverize there, but it doesn't matter. So he actually gets pulled back in, and he stayed for a little bit too long there, and he ends up dying so easy. Flashes in with the Obliterate and gets the solo kill. So easy. Just take the recall next time. You don't need to stay there. You don't need to greed. Greed is not a good thing. It is a sin for a reason.
And now, Dorado exhibiting another sin. Greed as they take all the objectives on the map. First dragon is theirs. Keeper's Verdict will knock away. Nation actually already got 1 grub.
Oh, and Peli's back in with the Starfall.
He doesn't even want the fight. He just pulls back in and gets the grub.
Big brain. That was all planned. That was the craziest use of a Grand Starfall I think I've ever seen to secure Void Grubs. That was...
You knock me away, I'm coming right back. I would have TP'd back if I had it. I just wanted the grub, all right?
He said return to sender and came back in on a spear.
He had the receipt and everything. He was returning that purchase. No, I didn't want this Keeper's Verdict. I wanted the grub, all right? And they got that. Dorado, 2 grubs as Nation was able to get 1. So... not feeling the worst on that end, but so far it's been all wins for Dorado Gaming as the 1 kill that Conduit have was onto an Alistar. As Poodle goes in again, hooked.
Hooked back in. It's taking a lot of damage here from We'll Show Them All. The Super Mega Death Rocket comes out, flashed away as well. Now Domination is being traded back on as We'll Show Them All has that lethal tempo fully stacked up and does so much damage. Poodle barely escaping with their life again.
Really nice play there. Good hook from Sunrise. And the Alistar still not at that level 6. So doesn't really have the full survivability with this spellbook. Good spell shield there. Even though the hook didn't hit. But very nice reactions from Domination. And this Sivir is looking better than the Sivir we saw earlier today. So I'm more convinced that it could perform well, because Sivir can really take over a game. If you're able to stand there, ricochet through everyone with like 4 or 5 items, you will just destroy everyone, and Jinx is really reliant on getting a reset to take over the fight. So it depends on how the fights go in terms of which AD carry basically can get the kill first. If Sivir can do all the AoE damage and will show them all as 2 poked out via the ricochets to step up. Then it will be a Conduit-sided fight, but one reset could change that all.
They're going in
and
onto Efron again. He's CC chained down. He uses the shockwave for no reason. He's trying to get behind the turret, but it doesn't matter. The damage is there, and he falls down again. Another kill onto Pele on this Pantheon.
I've been a really loud, I guess, complainer is what I should say, because that's more or less what I just do. Is about certain comps where I always say, why would you not just go for something simpler? Why would you not just go something like a Vi Ari, or recently due to Pantheon getting a lot more, a lot stronger and a lot more popular, Pantheon Ari, and you can see what happens when you play it. It's really simple to execute on. You just press W, you press E on Pantheon and Ari respectively, and enemy carry cannot move. You roam your support up, as Jinx can clear pretty much for free under tower with the range that the rockets give or afford her, and just play these mid kind of skirmishes. Walk into mid, pull Orianna in, get the CC chain, and it really is as simple as that. Really well executed from Dorado Gaming as they are getting the second dragon. Sunray is playing bodyguard, and it's another Ocean Soul.
Yep. Yeah, 3 for 3 on Ocean Souls. Let's contact Riot HQ and figure that out. But because of that dragon secured, that is Dorado Gaming claiming the feats of strength once again through the monster slaying and getting the first 3 kills of this game. So gonna have that in their back pocket. Not gonna come into effect yet because nobody has fully upgraded boots. Everybody's just sitting on brown bags in this game, except for Poodle, who has fully built. Okay. So I don't like when supports do this in the current meta where they fully upgrade their boots first item. Redemption is such a strong item, as I'm going to hold that thought, as Efron is dead once again.
Yeah, Pantheon is a champion, by the way, that we don't pick for some reason.
Yeah.
Ben.
Yeah, but back to my point. Redemption is such a strong item in the current state of the game, just because so many support items get nerfed all the time because junglers start building it, so they're like, oh, support items are too broken.
He's not even going it. He's going Locket. Look.
Yeah, I don't like that either.
Because Redemption has no prot on it.
Yeah, I mean, Redemption is so strong because it just really warps the way a team fight works, and now Nation might just die to Gabe Leo in the mid lane. Hold that thought. Spear Rush is in. Nation flashes forward. Oh, heroic charges a minion. Gets the shield, and it doesn't matter. Oh my god, it's a disaster. I don't know why you even tried that. Oh no.
Oh no, Scoob!
Oh no, Efron's in trouble again. Sunrise is back in the mid lane, and Efron might just be dead again. Flash, Dredgeline, connects, everything gone. Okay. So, how does Conduit come back into this game?
Civ 6 items is legitimately a concern, and Vladimir scaling. At a point, this damage will be too much. The problem is that, again, this is first pick Orianna 0-4. And I will say it is all due to Pele and how well the pathing has been from Dorado and how good the focus is. It's not even necessarily that Efron is playing really bad. It's not. It's an immobile mid laner against Ari, Pantheon, Nautilus, and they are camping your lane. Obviously, in ranked, this is where you start flaming your teammates and say, team in my, fanboys in my lane all game. But in this case, it's just really well played from Dorado. They are camping down or clamping down on a weakness in the draft, which is the volatility of the Orianna pick. They are burning the flash and then punishing it over and over again. I'm not talking about what Nation did there, but now Pele taking the Herald as Gabriel is just pushing in these waves, threatening Efron. You don't know if Pantheon's around the corner waiting to jump on you, so it's always a scary look. The team of Conduit pathing down towards the bot side to potentially bait forward the bot lane of Dorado, but it will not happen. They are playing safe. The jungler is on the other side of the map. They are weak-sided, and they are playing the weak side well, not stepping up, walking into a bush. And Herald will go over for free. Another game where Dorado have a really solid lead. In the early game, now around about 4K, a little bit over 4K lead, as Tower did nothing.
I don't know the thought process there. Maybe, oh, so easy. Could actually be in so much trouble here. He has the ultimate. He gets a lot of healing back from the transfusion. He's trying to play this one out with the Tide's Blood and the Signal Pool. Actually flashes away and under turret with the tower. Trouble Kill is still aggroed by this. Pelly's actually going to use the ultimate to try to escape from this one. And now the one who's actually focused down is going to be Gabe Lewis trying to get away. Shutdown goes over to Efron, and he has the first kill on the board here. And now the Trouble Killer still trying to get the recall here, but so easy. Cannot go back in. He will just die. Now Domination is the focus. He's getting rooted up under turret here. He had a nice spell shield there. Flashing away, trying to trade some damage back, and it does go 1-for-1 in the bot lane play because of how well he played that one out. Maybe could have cleansed to just try to get them down there for a little bit longer, but at the end of the day, you'll take that as the side of Conduit, even if you lose a turret.
Get the flower. Hold on, before I say anything. Okay, nice. Okay, he got the triple flower. It had to make sure, because sometimes, you know, these players don't value the flowers, man. But Vladimir is not a champion that you can dive like that. So much healing. But the invulnerability comes in massive there, holds it for the perfect moment. Pele's caught out, does flash away from the last turret shot, and then ults, so it doesn't give over a shutdown, but Gabriel caught out on the rotation and does give over a shutdown to this Orianna. So there'll still be a lead for Gabriel, but it has closed quite a big margin after that shutdown. Chopper Killer continuing to go to town on this tower. And after all that, we're back to a solo kill here that just happened out of nowhere. And Dragon, this is Soul Point again. So Conduit find themselves in a really good position after getting a shutdown, denying the dive, and unfortunately going 1-for-1 in the bot lane, right? That's an unfortunate play. A really nice cross map from Dorado, but 1-for-1's okay. You know, Domination gets a kill. And then in the span of about 10 seconds, we lose a solo kill on top tier 1, and Soul Point. And there's no contention or fight back around anywhere else on the map. It feels like a light has shone onto Conduit, and then darkness has enshadowed them.
Nice play there by Poodle to stop him from getting anything onto Domination. Sorry to interrupt you on that one, but yeah, I mean, Conduit keeps making these questionable. Oh, hold on, I'll hold that thought. On the hunt is used. They're looking to get this one. Nation trying to chase this down. Pool goes in. Oh, a nice flash by Will. Throw them all. Just completely ruins the engage there. The flash headbutt pulverized with the shockwave doesn't work. Nation actually going back in. He's taking a lot of damage. Gets turned back up. Tries to use the ultimate, but he CC down, and he is going to fall down. Now, so easy. He's trying to get in into the back line, but it's not enough. Gabe Leo is kiting around, so he's going to fall down. And Will show them all. Has the resets. Another stun on the Efron. Pulled back in, and it's Trouble Killer picking up that kill. And that is just done. Dusted. It looks like Conduit is going to be kissing their playoff hopes goodbye.
Yeah, that might just be the game, as this is a tier 2 tower being taken. Obviously not the game right here, but you're in such a terrible position now as Conduit. This Jinx has become a big problem, and still the Pantheon unanswered. Even though there is an Alistar potentially to peel away, and Poppy to immune, or to find that cripple, it isn't effective enough, and the abilities, like I said, they're not timed well. On paper, this is a counter, right? This draft from Conduit could do really well into the Ahri, into the Pantheon, and into the Nautilus, but Dorado's comp is just so much easier to execute on, and a really nice flash from We'll Show Them All to bait the team in forward. And a nice front to back ends up. Oh, yes, flowers. We're farming. We are gardening down there. 2, 3 flowers? Hold up. That might swing the game, you know? You never know.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Flowers can make a difference. Who knows? I mean, Captain Flowers, he makes a difference.
He does. He makes a difference. The GOAT.
He's the real GOAT. He's the real OG.
He is the real GOAT. And Zadakan spawned, and Soul is 2.5 minutes away for Dorado if they want to take that. Sorry, when they want to take that. Atakan, however, it feels as though Conduit really don't have an option. Their best face check is Alistar, and we've seen what happens when you get stunned in this game by the Pantheon. The CC chain, as I mentioned, in the picks and bans, has been really well played by Dorado. And as we're talking about it, the Atakan just going to get started up here by Dorado with the positioning from Conduit across the map. There is just no contestation available, so it will be for free. I have to check in with the flowers. What's blue side flowers and red side right now? Oh, so we've got, that's a big 29 flowers on this Pantheon as he marches forward. Shockwave will catch 2, but that'll be all that she wrote for that one. Again, this is a game where I think for Dorado, just wait another minute and a half, take your resets. Oh, thank you, 22. That's still pretty close, but it just evens it up, basically. Obviously, you've got the passive now with the explosions. So easy. Taking the all in.
Yeah, that's not an all-in you win. This is... Alright, Poodle going into the bot lane, trying to do something to save this turret, but there's no saving this turret. Poodle has to flash away, and they're just going to get stunned up and use the ultimate to fall down to Pele, and... Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
I think that Dorado, so far as they are sieging this inhibitor turret, have shown really good strengths in their drafting and their team comps. They're very synergistic, and they really know how to play them well, as Hook will go wide, and the inhibitor will break. This is an all of a sudden very aggressive position. 22 minutes in. Soul is 30 seconds away for Dorado if they want it. We're opting to go for triple inhib here. Or try to at least. Flush away.
Alright, there's the engage by Poodle, but it's not enough. And then a huge knock-up there by Nation. This could be a turning point here, but it doesn't matter because the gold is in favor of Dorado, and they're just going to wipe Conduit off the map. They tried their best to get the engage they're looking for and just not able to do it. An ace for Dorado seals Conduit out of playoffs after making the finals last season, and welcome to the playoffs, Monkeys Gaming. Or sorry, literal monkeys. My bad on that one.
And the ending fight there, triple knock-up from Poppy, triple knock-up from Alistar. But the wallets, this is just a really good fight from Conduit. But the wallets are too heavy. You can't lift that up. Not a bad showing from the bot lane this time, at least from the Sivir. But unfortunately, 2-0 will be the score, unfortunately for Conduit. But a really nice game, a really nice showing from Dorado.
Yeah, and I believe that secures Dorado as the 4th seed for playoffs. And like I said, Conduit has been eliminated. They'll end the season in 7th seed, and only the top 6 make it to playoffs. And Literal Monkeys 2-0 last week secures them in that final 6th seed. So was a fun ride, but sadly that'll be the end of Conduit here in the BOL Premier Season 2. But now, Gebetto, I gotta ask you one last time. Who is the MVP for game number 2?
This one's easy for me. It is just Pantheon. It is Pele again. The early pathings were just crazy. Finding the flash early, playing for small wins is something that even in pro play is a hot topic. You know, talking about how well teams like Gen G do it, and how bad some other teams that can't play for small wins. But blowing a flash like that, timing it, coming back, shows a really high level, in my opinion, of coordination and synergy and understanding of the comp and the weaknesses of the enemy comp. Pardon me. And Pele ended up playing really, really well. I think, yeah, what I was saying towards the end of the game is I think that Dorado have shown, going into playoffs, a drafting prowess where they... Oh, goodness. Pardon me. A prowess around drafting where they are drafting synergy that they understand, and it's also good into the enemy team, right? Pantheon, Ari, quite good into Orianna. Outside of, obviously Orianna has a pretty good lane into Ari, but when you can catch her out like that, Efron was getting caught all the time. That's how it ends up looking. 1-6, and I think this roster is something to be scared of, especially if they can continue drafting like this and continue playing like this very simply, not overcomplicating it, and just playing together as a unit.
Right. And with that, that'll be us ending our stream here for the last day of the last week of regular season for Blue Otter Premier League. I want to thank everybody for coming in and watching the 3 games that we had here today. I want to thank Gebetto for coming in and subbing in as my co-caster here. I want to thank Loki for coming in and subbing in as our producer, kind of having a makeshift cast here, but we got it done. We got through it, and it was a great time. And with that, that'll be the end of our night. I've been Chung Samo. That's been Gebetto. Have a great night. Drive home safely.